Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for making the 2-minute check from down the road.
I know.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. How are you?
I'm all right, very well.
Good.
So you've just done a very successful Kickstarter campaign,
Yes.
which you raised $5,000 in 30 days.
$5,000. I really didn't think I was going to do it. I felt a bit ridiculous when I first, put it out there.
How did you come to 5K? Where did the figure come from? Had you already
So,
planned out what you needed?
I had like a very set budget. So I planned out like studio fees, production fees, and then like all of like the artwork, so photography, doing like a music video,
Right,
travel expenses, session musicians, everything. I planned it down to like the last penny. And so that's where the $5,000, I didn't just pluck $5,000
I didn't think you did.
out of thin air, and I think I hadn't put the budget straight away, like I hadn't made that very clear. And a lot of people were like, why do you need $5,000 to make an EP? Like it's like 6 to 8 tracks it's going to be, and people are like, where is this money going? And people were a bit dubious about it, I think.
So did you have to keep explaining that?
So I literally I wrote out the budget and I put it on Facebook, and I was like,
you can't be fairer than that, can you? This is
I was
why.
like, I had to be so like clear
Honest.
and honest, and I had to be 100% transparent with what I was doing at that music.
Because I don't think most people realise how expensive it is.
People really don't.
Versus how much money you're going to make from it.
Someone commented saying, what are you doing, making like a full feature-length film or something for each song? I was like, no.
Oh, these uneducated, misguided people.
It genuinely is so expensive, and I have a feeling I'm still going to manage to go over budget. I'm
Probably.
still going to end up
There'll be some expense that comes out of nowhere.
And I even factored into my budget for when things go wrong. So I've got like...
I thought we were going to say lunch.
Oh no, that... I will be spending a lot of money on lunch, but that'll be my own money. But yeah, I've like factored in for like when things go wrong and like travel expenses and stuff for musicians. But yeah, so I was very, set about where I needed this money and why I needed it.
Was that from past experience then?
Yeah.
So what have you done before this then? What's led you to this point?
So, I've been self-releasing my music for the last couple of years now.
Just recording it yourself?
Yeah, so the first... I used to do like YouTube covers and like post all my originals on there. They were like badly recorded with like my laptop microphone and like an iPhone or something. But
that's how a lot of people start though, isn't it?
Yeah, and so I was doing that for a while. And then I had a friend who was studying music production at Leeds College of Music. And he was like, let's record some of your stuff. And he had like a little bedroom set up. So that was the first time I recorded like 3 songs, put them on like Spotify and iTunes. And that was like my first experience like recording something with someone else. And then, so that was maybe like 2016 that we did that. And then a year later, we went into the Leeds College of Music studios and we recorded a single. And luckily, like all of this was for free. Like I didn't have to pay for any of this. So at that point, I was still quite naive to how expensive it was. So that was all free. And I put that stuff on like Spotify, iTunes, self-released that, which went well. So I was kind of like making a profit because I hadn't put any of my own money into it really, or not a lot.
Yeah.
And then, I did another, I worked with a guy in Keswick called Rory McDonald. He has a studio called Massive Music. He's great. Like he was amazing. And again, he offered me like a really discounted rate. He was like, as long as you can like cover the rent of the studio, that's fine. And it was like ridiculously cheap. So again, didn't really know how expensive it was meant to be. So I was like naive to the whole thing. And then last year was the first time I've really put a lot of my own money and invested into doing like a full EP and like getting all the CDs and getting musicians to come in. And I was still like, I was recording in my house.
So you have done that in the past?
So yeah, so all of that stuff. And then got this producer from London, and he came to my house and we recorded this full EP that I released last year. But I had to pay him, I had to pay musicians, and then I like bought way too many CDs. Like way too many. I was like,
We've
I'll
all
sell more.
been there.
And so
There's so many musicians out there with like 1,000 CDs
Just
or
literally-
1,000 boxes of CDs in a garage going, "Oh,
literally
balls."
me. That was a big mistake. So yeah, I put a lot of money, and a thing I did, which I really regret, was I thought I'm going to put loads of money into like marketing, and I'm going to get a PR company. You're looking at me like, oh no.
I did the same.
What's she doing? So yeah, I had this PR company that said they were going to do all these get this like press coverage and blogs and all this stuff, and they literally did nothing. And I'd given them like half of my
Budget.
entire savings,
Yeah.
my entire life savings, and nothing. So I kind of, because I was so naive, because I'd never put money, and I never like worked out how much money things should be costing me.
You were finding out this as you were going along.
And so last year I was like, oh no, I've done this really badly. And the EP like ended up being really great. I loved recording it. I think it sounds good. We've got like cello and like strings.
Is that the one with 365 on it?
No, so that was actually the very first song that I released. So the one that I did in like 2016, I think.
That's got 200,000 streams
Yeah.
on Spotify.
Yeah.
That's pretty
That's
impressive.
why, yeah, it's insane. And that's just because it ended up on, I think first it ended up on like a Japanese Spotify playlist or something.
Yeah.
So it racked up a few streams there. But yeah, that was like one of the first things I released. And then the last EP I released was called Dreamer. Had 5 tracks. And it's doing okay actually, like it's doing good.
Yeah.
But I just put in like so much of my own money without really understanding like budgeting or like what's the best way to spend a budget in terms of production. So this time I feel like I know what I'm doing.
Plus the other scary thing is like, are my fans going to help me out here?
Yeah.
Have I got enough of them to do this?
I really.
And you went slightly over the target, didn't you?
Yeah, so I got to about 5,300 roughly. And so I hit the target as well like a few days before.
Well, yeah, extra
It was
300
ended.
for any hidden expenses that come up.
Exactly.
Or you could just post of you eating a sausage roll going, cheers guys, you paid for this.
Well, actually Kickstarter take I think it's 5% of whatever you make.
Okay.
So they would have taken 5% of 5,000, which is like £250. So technically that extra
kinda covers
300
that.
is covering that. So
That's good.
technically I'm still getting like £5,000, which is still amazing.
Because Kickstarter's one, if you don't hit your target, you don't get any of
You
it.
don't get any.
Because I know some of the others, you just get whatever.
Yeah, so there's like
I suppose the people know what they're signing up for.
Yeah, so I chose Kickstarter because I thought it was kind of like a bold move.
It's
like
it's
like,
make or break, innit?
Yeah, and I was like, I have to do it.
What would you have done if you hadn't?
I didn't think. I was trying not to think about it.
It's probably
But
the best way. To
honestly, the first day I was like, oh my god, because in the first day I'd made £1,000.
Whoa.
And that's the
good.
thing with Kickstarter or like any campaign, you make most of your money in like the first few days and in the last few days.
Is that how it worked?
Yeah, exactly. Like there was just this like whole like middle the whole time.
It's not good for the person waiting for the target,
And
is
I was
it?
terrified. I was checking my phone like every 10 minutes, like, is there any more? And there'll just be like an extra like £1 or something. So it was such a tense month.
Yeah,
like,
I can imagine.
Really tense. It's all I could think about. So yeah, I like made the first 1,000 in like less than 2 days. And I was like, well, this is gonna be easy. Got another month for this. And then it just really like flatlined for the whole month.
But you knew that in advance, though.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, like, when I decided to do the Kickstarter, it was like a very like spontaneous decision. So I'd been planning to release new music this year, and I was like, I'm gonna set myself a better budget. I'm gonna think about really what I'm doing a bit more clearly this time. Make sure I know what I'm doing. And then I was like, but I don't have any money. I came to that issue that I don't actually have any money.
Yeah.
And I'd heard about people doing the crowdfunding things and Kickstarter, and my friend had done one, and she'd raised like 20 grand.
Wow.
And I was like, if she can raise 20 grand, I can raise 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was really like spontaneous, and I had a week to plan like the whole campaign basically.
So what incentives did you give?
So an example would be kind of like, so I think that the lowest you could go was one pound, which was
All right, I didn't even.
you get.
I thought it'd be like 5.
No, so I did £1 and you get an email. So I've sent all my emails out saying like thanks.
All right, is that it?
That's it. You just get thanks.
I didn't
Cheers.
know that. I suppose for £1, what would you expect?
I know, well, and I did get a few pounds actually. So yeah, £1, and then I had, I think £5. I can't remember what £5 was actually. It was £5 for something
Is it still
else.
up? Can you still look at it?
Yeah, I think so.
What was the?
£5, and then £10 was definitely get a signed CD of the new. So it's an EP that I'm making.
Right.
So when it comes out, you'd get a signed CD and a thank you note. So I'd like write a little handwritten thank you note, which I thought was nice, like a little personal touch.
Yep.
Because I genuinely am like very grateful for everyone who's pledged towards it.
Yeah.
So £10 was that. £20 you get my old EP, the CD that came out last year, and the new one, and you get access to like all of the behind the scenes footage. So I've made this like private Facebook group.
Ah, cool.
And I'm gonna be posting like demos and like film stuff in like the studio and like put things in there. That'll be just exclusive content for people that gave.
Well, if they're genuine fans, they're gonna love all that stuff, aren't they?
Yeah. So which was nice. And then it went up to like £50 is like a merch bundle. So I'm gonna. And the thing was like, I've never released any other merch other than CDs. So like T-shirts, tote bags, badges, things like that, because I haven't had the money to invest into it.
Yeah.
So I said with this money, like part of it's going to the merchandise.
Because merch is important.
Yeah, and it's an expensive thing to invest in. Obviously you'd be making a profit on it, but I couldn't like guarantee that. I was nervous to put that money in. So part of the Kickstarter budget has gone towards the merch. So I said, if you pledge £50 or more, you get a full merch bundle. So that's a tote bag, which will have like a cool design on. My sister studies graphic design, so she's doing all these like.
I saw that she did some of your
my like
videos,
logos,
some of your videos as well. Yeah.
And stuff. So she's doing some like cool like design for this like tote bag. We're doing like a badge. The CDs will be in there.
You did a T-shirt, did you say?
I'm not sure about T-shirt. I didn't put it on the thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing like an art print, so it'll be like a mini like A4, A5, like mini like canvas.
Yeah.
So all of that's £50, and like I think it was quite like a nice. It'll be a nice merch package that you'll get through your door. And then there was like the more expensive pledges. So £100. I'm making an exclusive notebook, which will be all the stories behind the songs on the EP. So how I wrote them, what they're about. I'm even going to put in like the original writings. So I always write in like a notebook and write them handwritten. So I'm going to scan those in, and it's going to be this little cute notebook that people will get. And it's just like an insight to my songs and
your head.
And my head, basically. My soul.
Yeah.
So that's £100. And then the ridiculous ones were house concerts, which were like £1,000, and I got a couple of those.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
that's where it was really helpful. I put them in just to have them there.
Because you see, did you look what other people had put?
Yeah, so I was just copying what other people had done. I was like, no one's gonna want to pay me £1,000.
Never underestimate your fans.
So I'm doing like 3 house concerts.
That's
which
awesome.
Is insane. One of them is in Ireland.
Wow.
So I've got to go all the way to Ireland, and I said I would bring a band with me, even though I don't have a band. So I made all these promises, and now I've got to like follow up.
I was going to ask that because you get other musicians to help you record it. But what about when you go on tour? Do you still just do it you and a guitar, or?
So pretty much whenever I'm gigging, it's just me and my guitar and my keyboard at the moment. So I do a lot of I've got a lot of songs on piano. It's pretty much just me.
Would you like to do it with a band?
But I'm thinking of getting a band together, like a small band, like, some strings, maybe like cello.
What, drums?
Maybe drums. I don't have a lot of drums in my songs at the moment.
What about bass?
I like bass.
Bass
maybe
is
even
quite
double
fun.
bass. I like that. And just something to enhance my sound.
Yeah. So what, as far as drums go for this new EP, what we'll be doing for that?
I've got drums on the new EP. When I start recording
from an actual person playing them, or
a real person?
Right. No, just because a lot of people do electronic drums.
Yeah,
and you can't even tell.
Well, in
sometimes.
some of my past songs, I have. So there's one song called After Hours, and that's got electronic drums on, which sounds like they sound really good actually.
But sometimes if there's certain songs, you don't even notice.
You don't notice.
No.
A lot of people didn't notice that was.
I don't think for your kind of music, I don't think drums are like overly important. Like they
No.
would be in like a rock band.
It's more
or something.
like, so for this next EP, I've got drums on quite a few of the songs, but it's more like embellishments and trying to like
small percussion things.
Yeah, and like percussive things that will make the songs just feel a bit fuller. And that's why like I had this slightly bigger budget this time, because I wanted to be able to pay really amazing session musicians.
So how did you source all these people out and find out what you're going to do?
So I work with a producer based down in London, and he knows an array of people. And then I've got loads of friends as well. I'm recording most of it in London, actually.
Right.
So we know a lot of musicians there. So we've got.
The studio time's not cheap, is it? That's
no, it's really not.
Don't I know it?
It's so we're recording. Well, we're hoping to record in Rack Studios. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I've heard of it, yeah.
So like I know David Bowie has done stuff there, and The Cure, and like loads of people that are cool and stuff. And so hopefully we're recording there. I've got a really cool female drummer, female cellist, it's
cool.
just all like female musicians, female bass player, everything, which I think
was that by choice?
It started off not like it, just they happened all to be women, and then I was like, this is really cool. Like, I'm gonna have like an EP, a record like made by all women, apart from my producer, who's not. But we'll forget about him. I thought that was nice. Definitely.
So when do you think it's going to come out? Or when are you supposed to record it?
So we're recording next month.
All right, cool.
So I'm pretty much going. It's a long commute to London. I'm going to London pretty much every week for like 4 days at a time, to concentrate on like the separate songs.
How long is it planned to take?
I think, to be honest, it shouldn't take too long. We're gonna get
fully written already.
Yeah, I've written all the songs. I'm hoping to write a few more because I want it to be like 8 tracks, I think. So like a long EP.
How many are you written at the minute?
Well, I've got 8. I've got more than 8, but I'm very picky, so I'm hoping to just write 2 more.
You could come up with an absolute banger and just go, let's just gotta go on.
Exactly. like the day before, even like in a session.
It always happens.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that happens. Like a song just comes and is like, this belongs on the EP. But yeah, so these are songs that I've been writing over the past year, or even there's like a couple of older ones actually that I'm wanting to put on it. But yeah, it shouldn't take too long. So I think we're going to do the bulk of recording in April, so that'll happen over like 1 month. And then I want to do a really cool, and we're going to film it like a live recording somewhere in Cumbria. So we're going to get like someone to film it, and we'll all be playing live, and then that'll be the full thing.
Oh, cool.
So I just thought that would be quite nice, and then have that on the EP as like a live session, essentially.
Yeah.
So it should, but it shouldn't. It'll probably be coming out maybe October time, I'm hoping, because I want to release some of the songs as singles.
Yeah, you've got to do a bit of a build up to them. It
needs a build up. So it might even be November. October, November.
I suppose you don't have to, once you've done it, there's no rush to sort of set a date, is there? You can just say it's done, it's coming soon first, and then when you get a bit further, when you make your mind up.
The thing is, I'm such a perfectionist that the mixing is going to take...
Oh, God, yeah.
Because obviously we'll get everything recorded, but it's the mixing and mastering that just takes
Is that getting done separately?
Long. Yeah, so
we'll record...
We'll record everything, and then my producer will be mixing it probably as we go along. But the last EP we did, the last one I did, we started recording in May, and the EP came out in September.
Right.
So that was 4 months lead up time.
That's about 3 to 4 months, I think, is average.
That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, especially if you've got lots of...
But we recorded the whole thing in a week. The rest of it was...
okay, right.
The rest of it was... I don't know what we were doing.
No, but even for this new one, I think 3 to 4 months is about right. Especially if you've got lots of content and bits chopped up to sort of drip feed people.
Yeah.
I mean, the other way some people do it is like to fully record it, do everything, and then just go, oh, this is coming out tomorrow, by the way. Here you go, bang, here's everything. I've seen people do that. Was it Mr. Draper? What's that band?
What?
Is it Paul Draper? That's the bald singer of... is it Disturbed? No, Disturbed.
Drayman.
David
Drayman.
Is it Disturbed? That's Disturbed, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
They did that. They went on hiatus for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then one week they just went, okay, we've got an album coming out in 2 days.
I feel like you have
and
to
then-
be really famous.
Well,
to
maybe, but I mean, well, you've got to have a certain amount of fan base, but you've
Yeah.
clearly got that to be able to do what you've done already.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, I don't think I will do that. Maybe another. Maybe
I was reading
another
that
release.
you only really need 1,000 dedicated people who will buy your content, whatever
Yeah.
you put out, to self or just to survive, I suppose.
Mm.
Which doesn't sound a lot, but it is a lot.
I think it's difficult with like the way we listen to music now through streaming. Like
That's what I was going to ask. How important are CDs to you?
Cause I love CDs. I love physical CDs.
How old are you?
20.
Okay, it's interesting.
Is that
Our
okay?
guests the other day were two people who owned a vinyl record store, so they were
Oh,
totally like, through
yeah.
the old school. They
Yeah.
only sell vinyl.
I know, and I love that, and I don't know.
We were just talking about what like most young people, the mainstream trend is like
The
they
thing,
don't really do CDs.
the
or,
thing is, like, I listen to Spotify. I've got Spotify. I use it religiously, but I listen to CDs in my car. I listen to my parents' old records, and I really like that. And I think because I am a musician as well, like having like a tangible thing and
Physical
being like,
thing,
I
yeah.
made this, is really nice.
Yeah, but you're the artist.
But they just don't sell anymore.
Well, at gigs,
At gigs, yeah.
that's it.
But
You don't get many online orders for CDs.
no, not really. Which is why, so through this Kickstarter, I've pretty much got 100 people that have ordered a CD essentially.
Yeah.
So I'll have to order 100 CDs, and I know that they're going to be.
You should probably
Given away.
you should probably get 500 then.
So
Because
yeah,
then
so
you'll get
I'm
100
gonna,
are gone already, and then you've got
So I'll
next few
order
years
some
to get rid
more,
of the
yeah.
rest. Because
So I'm
obviously it's cheap. The more you bulk order, the cheaper you get them. So
Which is what I thought with the last one, and then I just bought. Way
not
too-
1,000 though, surely. Yeah, but when you do get famous, they'll all want your back
Then-
catalogue
Exactly. Then they'll be there
ready
waiting
to go. They'll
in
be like
my-
vintage.
in my mum's attic. Bit dusty.
I was reading something about they're doing away with the cellophane wrapping it. 'Cause
Yeah.
obviously it's not good for the environment.
Yeah.
It was always something I did like. Even though I couldn't fucking open this. I'm always going. You open it, I can't do it. You've got nails. You open it, I can't do it. But yeah, I hadn't even thought of that, and I thought, oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's totally unnecessary. It looks like shiny, new,
Yeah, it's
unopened,
nice.
but
But
it's not really
mine are
necessary.
like the card wallets.
Oh, those
paper,
digipack things.
Yeah, but I guess the CD is still.
Still,
plastic,
yeah,
isn't it?
but
There's-
if the container thing's not plastic, then
Yeah.
that's help. That's the way things are going to have to be, I
Mm.
suppose. They need to get as good for the environment as cheap as possible, with
Yeah.
the least amount of material used that you possibly can.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's like Spotify.
In a way,
no,
yeah.
No physical.
Like
But,
I say, you can't argue with the ease of use and the convenience.
Yeah, and it's great. Like I use it every day, and I love it. But I also know it's like no one can make a living off that unless you're getting millions of streams a
Yeah.
month. So like you.
But Spotify's never going to be your only revenue stream.
Oh
though.
no.
It's part of it.
But say like 10 years ago, if you had, so I've got 1,000 monthly listeners. Oh no, I've got 8,000 monthly
That's what I said, I've got
listeners.
it written
Yeah,
down. Yeah.
8,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. But imagine if there was 8,000 people that had bought the actual CD or bought the whole thing on iTunes. That's I don't know how to do maths, but that's a lot.
But they don't
more
do that
money.
anymore, though, do
But
they?
they don't. That's the thing.
Spotify's paid subscribers is just going
Yeah,
up
exactly.
and up, and all the other ones like Deezer and.
It's something. I think it's something like 0.0003.
It's gone.
pence.
It's gone up. It
It's
used
gone
to be
up.
that. It's gone up. It is more.
Because there's
but
this
it
thing.
needs to keep going up.
There's a bit of rivalry between Apple Music and Spotify at the moment.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Apple Music pays their artists better, I
They
think.
do. They always have done.
But Spotify is obviously more.
But one of the main
It's
reasons though
easier,
is
I
because
think.
Spotify, Apple Music they didn't have streaming, so they just you could buy the track, so they couldn't go from paying £7 for an album to nothing. We're just going to stream it
zero.
for free. So they have to
Yeah.
sort of balance it
Yeah,
out.
it's tricky. Because
But
what do you listen? What do you listen
Spotify.
to? Spotify.
Everything.
It's easy. Playlists. It's simple. It's
I buy
neat.
CDs like other artists, but that's
Yeah.
just because I know it's going to go to the artist.
Yeah.
but I don't listen to the CD. I just
You just keep them.
you know, I go to a gig and I've already heard the album 100 times on Spotify, but I'll still buy the
That's nice,
CD.
though.
Yeah, because I'm a musician myself, so I know.
So you know.
I know the value of someone buying that CD versus just going, nah, I'll just go and listen to it home when I get home.
Yeah.
Because we don't get any of that
And when
$9.99 a
someone's-
month subscription, do we?
When someone says that to you, like, I'll be like, oh, I've got CDs. And they're like, oh, well, I'll listen to it on Spotify. I'm like,
But you can't really say anything though, because
you can't. I can't be
at
like,
least they're
"Buy
listening.
I can't like force them.
In the end of the day, you've got to think longer term of like,
Yeah.
if you get more and more people listening to you on Spotify, if you get a certain amount,
The thing is,
that's
if you're,
alright.
if you end up on like one of those big
Playlists as well.
that's first of all, it's more exposure for your music.
Mm.
Before, you wouldn't have that amount of people being, shown your music or just coming across it on like. There's like the algorithm playlists, and then there's the created ones.
You can earn a lot of money from them if
And-
you get them certain ones.
And if you get
ones.
on certain one, that's how like one of my tracks have got the over 200,000.
Some of them are like over millions of monthly listeners. You just think,
And they'll be earning way
Wow.
more money than they would have earned 10 years
yeah,
ago.
and they just add one song, so that one song gets put out to like how
Yeah.
many million people? You're just like, wow.
But it is like two extremes. Like you're either making nothing off Spotify and streaming, or you're making like
but
loads.
you need to be there for discovery.
But you need, you couldn't just like,
The majority of younger people, that's how they're going to find you.
you couldn't just go on strike and be like, I'm not putting
I'm
my
only doing
music on
CDs.
there.
Like, bye.
So I'm pretty sure actually, when Spotify was just coming around, oh no, maybe not. But
2010,
it was-
I started using
Okay.
Spotify.
Well, something like when Taylor Swift released her record, she refused
yeah.
to put it on
That didn't work, did
Spotify
it?
or anything. But like she didn't do it for like the first like week, so then people were forced to buy the record, which was quite clever, but also
It's a bit shitty though, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
I wasn't a fan of that move.
yeah. So, but the thing, streaming is the way to go, and it's just
A lot of
It's just
older
the way it is.
artists refused. They sort of resisted the whole streaming thing
Yeah.
as well. But
But you just
people just explain to them like, well, if you're not there, then
You
all
m-
the younger people, you're never going to get heard by
Yeah,
them because they ain't going to buy your CD.
yeah, no,
But like the Spotify, I really like Spotify. Just before we listened to the Discover Weekly thing, it's like 30 songs that you might have heard some of them, but some of them you might not have heard for years, and other bands
Yeah.
you've never heard of. But I didn't even know about this band, but I love them. But like I use that all the time. It's how you find new music.
yeah,
I
definitely.
think that's important. So
Yeah.
if you're an older artist and you weren't there, then you're missing out on all that potential.
Exactly. You can't just not put your stuff on there. There's just
Like who's gonna
You're
if you
missing out.
stick to CDs and vinyl, that's all we're doing.
I really wanted, so I said to my producer, I was like, yeah, for this next EP, I want to have it on vinyl. And he was like, no. You're not
Vinyl's
doing
still
it.
going.
I really wanted to do it or have like
There's
some
a reason why
exclusive-
vinyl's never gone away.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I would love one day to have something on vinyl, but when I looked into it,
It
it
is
was
more expensive.
so expensive.
It is expensive.
Like ridiculously expensive.
That will be one of those things for like maybe another Kickstarter thing to say who wants to
Yeah,
buy it, because then they're already
definitely.
paying for it in advance.
Yeah.
It's like some people actually do. I've seen some podcasts do it where they want to do a T-shirt but they don't know how many to do, so they put out if you like pay us the money now, and then once we hit a certain target, if we don't hit the target of money and people are interested, we won't do it. But as soon as we hit like I don't know 50 people, then we'll order it and
Yeah.
get it done.
Definitely.
So you're not
Like,
shooting yourself in the
gauge
foot
it.
by ordering 100 and
Oh,
only 20
and it's
people
the
order them. It's like,
worst.
what do we do?
It's the worst.
So that's
Yeah.
one way to think about it. I
Yeah,
suppose.
but no, I would definitely love something on vinyl one day, and I think that would be like a really like big moment. I think like really special.
yeah, you've got to have a bit of money saved up for
But
that.
you do have to. I guess saving.
But
Save the
it's a lot
pennies.
of bands are doing it as a limited edition run, just a few.
Yeah,
which
definitely.
It's always an option. Your other challenge is the fact that so far most of your content, your themes, it's a very crowded market.
Yeah.
Matters of the heart and
Yeah.
relationships and
Well, so I tweeted yesterday. So I've just I'm going through like a breakup,
I saw.
and I've now got this like whole like album worth of songs. I was like, I could just release an album of all these like heartbreak songs,
I've written it down. Sad bangers.
sad bangers. that's what I like.
I forgot to hashtag it. That's what it is. When we do the post for this, sad
Yeah.
bangers is the hashtag.
Because people ask me.
That's your next album.
Yeah.
Sad bangers.
Yes, I'm gonna write that down. Because when people ask me like, oh, what's your like genre of music, and I don't like saying like singer-songwriter because it's hard.
It's vague.
It's vague. I could just say I write sad bangers.
Yeah. Yeah. Not many people have heard of that. I'll go,
Different.
Interesting.
Yeah, they are. I mean, some of them are kind of disguised as upbeat songs. They're still sad.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
still pretty.
It's the overall
depressing.
feel of them, isn't it? Did you see the girl who replied to you?
No, what did she? Which one?
I've written it down.
Oh, you put-
Whoever, Lucy May Walker.
Oh, yeah,
Is-
my,
did you
yeah, my
remember?
friend Lucy.
She put, mate, sometimes I consider falling in love with a dickwad again, just so it all comes crashing down for me to write an absolute heartbreak banger EP.
And I think, no, I remember that, and I replied saying, "You have to sacrifice your heart for your art."
That's true. That's true.
It's
Oh,
really
it made me
true.
laugh. That did.
It is true though. You have to, you have to write songs about just anything that makes you feel.
But also, with you being quite young, I think you've got less to draw from in life. That's one argument.
Yeah, I've had that before, but I've also had a lot of people say like, "You're very mature for your age," and
Yeah.
you know, I always write from my own experience.
Well, that's the best way to do it. You can't
Like,
argue with something that's from yourself.
So when people are like, "You don't know anything about being heartbroken," and I'm like, "Listen, yes, I
20.
do."
By the age of 20, you should.
Yeah.
I'm
And-
still waiting for the I Hate Men songs. They've got to be coming at some point.
Yeah, there's gonna be
in the 20s. They'll
there's
be
gonna
coming.
be a few. But yeah, so I always write from my own experience, and even if it's just something small, I can make it really dramatic. Like I can work with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this past week I've been writing so many breakup songs, and they're really good. Like part of me is quite like grateful for the breakup.
Yeah,
This album is
it's
gonna-
an age-old thing. It happens all the time. Like some of the biggest songs, people go, "Where did that song come from?" Oh, just some dickhead there.
Yeah, literally. But
Well, it's like Fleetwood Mac.
well, yeah.
Most of their songs are the two writing songs about each other. Like,
Exactly.
but ended up being the best songs they've ever written.
And you can't get in a relationship with a songwriter without knowing that you're gonna
No.
have multiple songs written about you.
And I also think when you see two people that are in a band get together, it's like,
Yeah,
oh no,
I know.
no.
I know.
What happens when that goes wrong? What
Just
happens?
think about the songs.
Yeah, but if they break up,
Yeah.
but the band's still together, it's like, oh.
Yeah. No.
That's probably why you're better just being you on your own.
Yeah, and
Mind you, if you're all women, then
I just won't date any musicians or that.
Yeah,
just,
forget.
Just no.
don't work with them if you do.
No. Yeah, definitely not.
But I don't know. So, have you tried writing anything else other than like about I don't know
The thing is,
the world?
I try and write happy songs, and that doesn't work.
I'm just too miserable.
The thing is, I wouldn't say I was a miserable
No.
person. Like,
It certainly
it's
doesn't
not
come
like I
across so
just
far.
I don't mope around all the time. I'm just really.
Do you
good
not
at-
think sometimes it's just do you write lyrics to music? Like you write the music first, then you add lyrics to it, or do you sometimes
I-
just write words?
I always do it at the same time. So
Oh right, okay.
yeah, so I sit down at the piano usually, and I come up with some chords that like feel quite like whatever I'm feeling. I try and like put what I'm feeling into chords, and it usually comes like quite naturally. So like loads of minor chords and like minor seventh chords and stuff. And then I'll start coming up with a melody or a line, or I might have one line and like make it fit. But I always write the lyrics and the melody and the music all together. I don't know how else I would do it.
Well, this
So
is the
how
thing.
would
I've talked to many different, and I do it differently.
So
Everyone does it different.
how would you go about it?
Mine was always just like the music. I was always putting words to music that was already written. Occasionally, I'd have like a sentence or the odd word, because if I hear something, well, that sounds cool. I'll make a note
Yeah.
of it. I have a long list of like I've got like potential song titles, potential album titles,
Yeah.
and with rock music, it's kind of like I look at the list of words versus the music, and I goes, what does this music? What word jumps out at me? Because I've got to give it a title. I have to give it a title, otherwise,
First?
yeah, I have to give it.
Really?
Once I've got the music, I have to give it a title because I get lost. If I need something, I need a theme.
A theme to base it around.
I tried it the first, just not doing that, and I was just like, then I start right. Yeah, but that doesn't go with that. That doesn't make any sense. So if I give it a title,
That's so
that keeps me on the right track.
The title is the last thing I come up with.
There you go. There you go.
So the way I write songs, I'd say this to people and they're like, what? I kind of feel like I write them like subconsciously, and like so I'll just start writing stuff and like words will be like coming out my mouth and I'm just like singing, and then like I've got like a verse maybe and a bit of a chorus, and I'm like I suddenly realize what I'm actually writing about, or like I'm writing about how I've been feeling or like an experience I've had, and I suddenly like pinpoint what it actually is, and then I can like finish the song and like maybe change bits, and then I stick a title on it that makes sense.
So the only thing I do at the end is usually the title of the album or the EP.
Yeah.
Try and give it like a title of like what ties it all together. What's the thread that?
So if you were like naming an album, would you give it like a separate name, or would you choose like one of the songs?
I've done both.
Because
I never
know.
Depends really. Some people like. I don't think you should like decide either one way or the other. I think sometimes
it should just happen after.
Sometimes a song title or the lyrics of that song, like, are the theme of like they tie in with all the other songs.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to call the album that song. But other times, something completely different ties all the songs together, but it's not one of the songs.
Yeah, that kind of. So when I released my EP last year, Dreamer, the last song on the thing is like this song called Dreamer wasn't even going to be on the EP. It just was a song that I played to my producer, and he was like, "Why is that not on the EP? Like, that's literally
you
about."
Idiot.
He was like, "This is literally a song that ties all of the other songs together.
Yeah.
It summarizes your whole bloody life, and this needs to be on." And then the whole EP was called Dreamer because it literally describes me as a person.
Yeah.
I'm like a dreamer. But this next EP, I was like, I want it to have like a cool title, like a cool name that like ties in all the songs. Maybe like
and describes you.
I mean, it's gonna be it's gonna be called Sad Bangers. Like,
brilliant.
It can't be called anything else now.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Really.
You've coined that.
I mean, it's pretty accurate, to be fair.
They're sad, but they're awesome.
Exactly, tagline. Yeah.
But because our last EP was called Destruction Complete.
Yeah.
And that's the last song on it.
And the
but
last song.
about 2 weeks before we were going to go record it, it was another song that was going to be the last song.
Yeah.
And I still didn't know what we were going to call the whole thing. And that song just came from nowhere. And Destruction Complete, it's pretty much about like the end of the world being either from us destroying the planet through neglect and just not treating it right, or blowing it up by a war. So the artwork is like half
so
and
cool.
half. Can you pull it up?
Maybe.
Yeah. I'd like cool.
So
No, I can't.
but that
Never mind.
okay, they're not working.
No.
But Destruction Complete kind of covered it like
Yeah.
perfectly, and it just
That's
came.
really
That was
cool.
literally like the day before we came up with the name.
And I think
the name of it.
it's something that should be like quite natural. I think to like name a whole record, it should be something that just it'll feel right at the time. Be like, that's what this is going to be called.
Do you want to play a song?
Yeah.
Do you want to? We'll could do one at the end as well. Do you want to do 365?
Yeah, if you'd
That's
like to hear that one.
According to Spotify, that's your biggest song.
It's
so
my biggest song, but it's like.
Do you enjoy playing it?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't not enjoy playing it, but it's my oldest song. So I wrote this when I was 16.
Well, we'll do a contrast. That's old. We'll do something much newer
That's a good idea.
at the end.
Because I actually do whenever I play a gig, I open with this song.
Are you open with it?
I always open with it. I think it's because I'm most comfortable with it. I've been playing it for years, and I've always opened with it. But I feel like I think the reason I don't like playing it anymore is because I feel a bit more like disconnected from it, because I wrote it when I was 16.
Well, that's the other thing you've got to deal with.
And I'm like, I can't remember what this was about.
You know, pull that mic the top mic a bit closer.
This
to
one.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wrote it when I was 16, and like some of the lyrics are about like driving around. I was like, I couldn't even drive when I was 16.
Yeah, just because you can't relate to it doesn't mean other people can't.
So I think, and people do like this song. But yeah, I think it's just because do you get like, if you've been playing a song for years, do you get kind of like
sometimes, yeah, because we're quite a lot of songs, so we're like, should we just drop this one? But I guess you can't not play it.
No, I have to, because it's like the one everyone knows, and yeah, I don't know, it's not a bad song.
So this is 365 and it's off.
365 and it's off like a short EP. It was like a 3-track EP called Strangers. And I literally released it when I was like a little baby.
Go for it.
So let's go. We drove for days days on end. We watched the sun set and rise 365 times, again and again and again. And we told silly jokes that made much more sense in our heads, but we laughed anyway, again and again and again. And I fell for you the way you fell for life that night, and so did I. We chased shooting stars and made wishes every time that we would stay alive just for another day, and maybe even travel to outer space. I didn't know if this would last or if it was just all a show. Take your bow when you got bored and leave the stage. Leave me all alone. But I didn't mind. I was in love with you and your beautiful mind. And I fell for you the way you fell for life that night, and so did I. We drove for days on end. We watched the sun set and rise 365 times, again and again and again.
Nice. Thank you very much. We won't clap because it sounds really
It's a
like.
really-
Was it? I was going to clap quietly.
It'd
Like,
be
like,
like
like a golfer's clap.
No, yeah, it'd be like one of those really unimpressed ones, like.
No, it's like, it would be like one of those gigs where like you're playing in a pub and there's like two people listening to you, and I
Yeah.
actually would just be like, I'd rather people just didn't clap at all rather than one person being like,
Just like,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's more awkward, and it's usually like my friend that's in the audience like going, well done.
No, I like that song. It's
So,
really good.
yeah, thank you.
But you saying you've lost the connection to that song?
Yeah, I think just because
That's
I
just
wrote
age,
it,
isn't it?
I wrote it so young, and I really like. I don't know why I was writing about driving around when I was 16. And
Well, because you've got nothing else to do.
literally.
I think that makes
think-
sense.
So yeah, it's just
But like, what will yourself in 10 years think about what you're writing now? Or you in the
true,
30s?
True.
You'd be
true.
like, stupid girl.
I knew nothing.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's the cycle of life, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's natural to like love playing your like newest songs, and like they always sound like so like fresh and like amazing. So whenever I write a new song and I'm like
Push that
gigging.
mic out the way.
Is that good?
Be fine.
So yeah, when I'm gigging, I've got like a brand new song. I love playing it,
Mm.
and then like a year later, I'll be like, "That is a terrible song. Like, why am I?"
Yeah,
It's
but
not a
other
good
people,
song.
like your fans, get attached to songs though. So
Yeah, and it's like
offended if you don't play it.
oh my god. So I've got, because obviously I used to do like the whole YouTube thing, and I had this. Well, I had quite a few songs, that I wrote and I put on there, but they were like so like childish, and like I was like 14, 15, like writing these songs, and like people get like really angry, like sending me messages like, where did this song go? Like, this was my favorite song. And I'm like, I'm trying to be like, you know, like a mature, like professional musician. I've got a song called Circles about like flying rabbits and stuff. Like,
That just sounds like something you wrote when you were stoned.
it could be.
Yeah.
um
They're like mad bangers.
sad bangers, mad bangers. What's next? So yeah, I've got like all these old songs that, and my friends always like, if I'm gigging, they're like scream like, play Circles, and
Yeah.
I'm like, Go away. Leave me alone.
So who's helped you the most so far then?
In terms of
Just to be able to do what you do.
I mean, a lot of it I've just done myself.
What about touring that? Just do all that by yourself?
So I just like gig. I'm just gigging like around
So what
Penrith,
sort of place?
Cumbria.
What-
So I gig like in Carlisle. So I do like all the pubs and bars. Like I do those kind of gigs to like earn money. And then I've done like a couple bigger shows. So I played a support slot for a singer-songwriter called Dodie. She's like massive on the YouTube scene, and she ended up, I think she got in the top 5 album
British?
charts. Yeah, she's British, from London. And she's like, she goes on tour like around the world, like, cause she's got these like insane fans. So she like does Europe, America, UK. She's on a UK tour at the moment. Anyway, so I did a support slot for one of her shows in Newcastle a few years ago, and that was like nearly 2,000 people.
What was the venue?
It was
it Riverside?
It was like a university something.
Okay, right.
Like a students' union,
Yeah.
Newcastle Students' Union, something like that. So it was like 2,000 people, which was
Wow.
probably still the biggest crowd I've ever played to.
Have you done many festivals?
So I've done Kennel Calling 2 years in a row.
You doing it this year?
I don't think so.
They haven't let me know yet.
They haven't asked me. I don't. They're not that keen on booking the same artists.
No, that's true.
A lot and a lot.
Plus, I think if you'd had your album out,
Yeah.
they might have, because I think
Yeah,
they prefer
maybe.
artists who've got something to.
Yeah. So I did Kennel Calling for 2 years, which were really fun, and then I did Soulfest last year, and then to be honest, I've not done a lot of festivals. I've done like smaller ones.
So have you got much planned for this year?
Not a lot. Like I've been so busy with like the Kickstarter campaign and just gigging in general that I actually haven't.
So when do you hope to be done with the recording side of and the mastering?
Well, I'll be finished like recording, hopefully by like mid-May,
Right.
and then I don't know how long mixing is going to take.
It depends on you, doesn't it?
It could just take forever. It could
You
take.
get a second opinion on it, because if it's just you probably just go around in circles.
Yeah, I literally send it to everyone I know. Like, does
Right.
it sound okay? Or like, I'll just play it to my friends. Like,
You'll probably nitpick on things that other people wouldn't even notice.
Yeah,
though.
definitely.
I've definitely done some of
and
that.
there comes a point where you just have to be like, and even like when recording as well, like there comes a point where you have to just be like, this take is gonna be it. Like I can't do.
Does your producer,
10.
is he good at like
Yeah.
pushing you or saying?
Oh
You've
yeah,
done
like
enough?
he'll make me do it until it's gonna be as good as it gets.
Yeah.
So he like gives me like a rate out of 10. He was like, that was like a solid 6. So we'll do it again.
Yeah,
and
our
then it gets
producer
to like a
used
7.
to ask us, what do we think?
Yeah.
He'd say, what do you think of that? Versus what he thought.
See, because I'd always just say, no, it was terrible, let's do it again.
Right, you're probably not the right person to ask.
So he was like, yeah, that was like a 6 out of 10, which is quite nice because he's just like really blunt about it.
Yeah, they've got to be.
And that's what I need. But it was really nice as well because last time when we were recording the Dreamer EP, and we'd been recording this song, it was Dreamer actually, like all day, and we were trying to get it live in one go. It's like I was doing the piano and vocals at the same time, and like it just wasn't going right, and we just left it for the day. And the next morning I was like, we're just gonna sit down, play it, record it, and I'll play it. And it was literally perfect. It was amazing. Like I got to the end and I played the last chord, and I was like, we just looked at each other like,
I think we did it.
That was the one.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just know when that was the right take.
Sometimes you've got to step away.
And sometimes you just need a break, otherwise you can't hear it.
Well, you just get so
wrapped
I don't know.
up in it.
You sort of you reach a peak and then you start going downhill.
Yeah.
Our producer was very good at
definitely.
spotting that. Whether it was guitar or whether it was vocals, he was going, "You're going downhill now. Let's just stop. Come back
like
this tomorrow."
Sometimes we just had to. He was like, Peter, my producer, was really good at this. We'd be recording like vocal take after vocal take, and then he just goes, right, cup of tea and a biscuit.
Cup of tea. That was always
and
key. All those rock and metal people. It's not beer. It's tea.
It's tea. And
I've heard loads of them say it.
and he knew when I was getting to that point as well, when I was getting a bit hangry as well, and he was
Hangry?
like, right.
That's not a good place to be.
We need to get some lunch.
Well, maybe for your genre, hungry's not a good place. Like,
No.
imagine like a ballad like, I hate this! Get me out of here!
Literally what it was beginning to sound like when I was getting to that point. So, yeah, as long as I had enough tea, enough biscuits, then it was, that's how the
Keep you
record
going.
happened.
Would you do you enjoy, which do you prefer, the performing or the recording part of it?
Performing, 100%. I actually think I sound better live. I don't know what I don't know if it's just because I don't like listening to my own voice.
Or do you feel pressure?
And I feel a lot of pressure, which is why I don't actually enjoy recording vocals in a studio environment.
But it gets easier the more you do it, and the older you get, though.
I really don't like it.
You just.
But yeah, I guess I haven't.
As you get older and you do it more, you just get more confident, and you just get used to it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I could do this if I didn't like the sound of my own voice.
Because I actually, alright, so I thought it was quite funny when you asked me to be on your podcast, because I hate listening to my own voice, and I've got a terrible voice as well.
Well, just don't listen to this when it goes out.
I won't.
Tell people about it and then just turn it off.
I won't listen, because I told my mum, I was like, oh, I'm doing a podcast. She was like, you?
I thought you were going to say it. She was like, what's a podcast?
No, she loves them, but she was like, you don't have a very good voice for a podcast.
Ooh,
You know,
mother.
But she loves my singing voice. She was like, you've got terrible talking voice.
I disagree.
Thanks.
I think it's just normal.
But I won't
Like,
listen to this back at all.
That's fine.
The
We don't do any editing, by the way.
Oh god. The first time I had a radio interview with Radio Cumbria, and I listened to it back and I was like, oh my god, I didn't realise that's what I sounded like.
You've got to get used to it.
Do you not find it weird? Do you not find it
Not
weird
anymore.
listening? Not anymore.
Not even do it. Well, you do it for so long. You've just
get
got
used to
to.
Yeah.
You've got to do it. So
Yeah.
what are you going to do about it?
I feel like, but some people, like, you've got a good, like,
But
sort
you
of
also don't
podcast
you don't
voice.
really have an accent though. So it doesn't. I think some people have an
Yeah.
accent struggles sometimes if it's too
Yeah.
strong. Like I know, like especially like even Jason Manford, the comedian.
Mm.
He used to be really proper mank, but he's had to like.
Proper, yeah.
I was like doing BBC and proper
Yeah.
radio. Like he's had to like
Like,
his accent's kind of come
dull
right
it down
in the
a
middle.
little bit, yeah.
But you don't have.
I don't really have
some of
an
your
accent.
words are a bit like, what dare I say, posh or well spoken. Podcast,
Yeah.
not podcast. But other than that, you don't have an accent.
I
so
don't have an accent because my parents are both from the south. My parents are both from
Right.
London, but I've grown up in Cumbria.
Yeah.
So all my friends are Cumbrian. Everyone I know is Cumbrian, but I don't have a Cumbrian accent.
No.
But I don't have a southern accent.
No.
To be
I
honest,
think that's a good thing.
when
though.
I go down south, they're like, "You're so northern." I'm like, when I'm here, everyone's like, "You're so posh."
Yeah, but
So I
I think-
can't please anyone.
I think you're in the middle. So
In the
it's fine.
middle, so it's all good. Happy
It's fine.
medium.
But things like this, you just get like you must have done a fair few interviews by now.
I've
though.
done quite a lot of interviews, but since that first time that I listened back to it, I've not listened to any of the other ones.
Well, maybe you should just get used to it.
No, I can't do it. I can listen to myself singing. That's fine. I don't cringe at that.
Well,
So
that's probably
and that's
that's
all
the
I
most
need.
important thing, isn't
Yeah,
it? So,
as a singer, you can't really hate your
because
voice that much.
have you done any podcasts before?
No, this is my first one actually.
But you must have done like a few radio.
But I've done
things
like
and,
radio interviews
or
and
email interviews for like websites or magazines.
Yeah. And I've done like this isn't live, is it? No.
No.
Good.
Gone a couple of weeks.
Okay, so I've done I did a live radio interview with Georgie Spanswick.
No.
She does like the, I don't know what it's called, like the radio show that goes up to all the local stations in England.
Oh, is that like CFM does that?
Something like that, but it's like so it's all the BBC local radio stations. So it would go on
Oh, like a
BBC
syndicated
Radio Cumbria,
syndicated thing.
Radio
Yeah, yeah.
London, Radio
Yeah.
Southampton,
Worcestershire and all that, yeah.
all of them, and it was live to all of them, me, and I had to like play some songs and speak live. That was quite scary.
That
Because-
if you're want to do what you want to do, that's part of your job.
Exactly.
So
So just got to get used to it.
it's like I said, you don't have your voice doesn't annoy me.
Good.
In fact, I don't think we've had any guests on here where their voice has been an issue. A lot of people have had issues with their own voice, and I was like, "You sound fine," and everyone's like, "Yeah, it's fine." It's like
It's just some. It's just
I
a
definitely
different-
did have that. Like when I was a lot younger, when I first started,
Oh, yeah.
you're a bit more self-conscious, though. I think
Yeah.
so. That's just a general thing, which
Yeah.
gets better as you get older,
Definitely.
and the
Yeah.
more you do it.
Maybe I should start my own podcast.
Why not?
Go into competition.
Well, I mean, if you were going to do one-on-one, all you need is a little audio recording.
Yeah.
You could, when you go do your gigs, you could talk to other musicians, things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, do
Definitely.
you listen to podcasts?
I love podcasts, and I always listen. I listen to the mainly music ones.
Yeah.
So there's one that I like called "And the Writer Is,"
Mhm.
and they just talk to songwriters and talk about their experience thus far. And
Sounds good.
and then there's another one that I've been listening to called Song Exploder.
Yeah, I know that one.
And
That's one of the most popular ones in the world. That
yeah,
one.
and then Tape Notes as well, which was exactly the same.
I haven't really listened to it, but is that the one where they break down songs?
They break down the songs and they literally they show you the separate elements, like isolated, so the isolated vocals.
Ah, yeah. See, because that started off as just some people just messing about as like a hobby type thing, and
it's amazing and it's so interesting. They like do the isolated like drums and like how the song came about, and it's really inspiring and like gives you.
I'm
so
like a
many.
podcast addict. In fact, the app that I use is called Podcast Addict. So, but I'm subscribed to so many that I can't listen to them all. I am subscribed to Song Exploder, but it's just so many every day. It's like there's 42 new episodes. Like I know my top 5 favorite, and someone like Joe Rogan's is like 3 hours. So I'm like, well, I've got to listen to that. So that's most of my day gone.
No, I do really like podcasts, but they are like mainly music based.
Yeah. But I think the beauty for me, what I like about podcasts is the one that do conversation like this, because you don't really get that anywhere else.
No.
Like I imagine most of the interviews that you do, you get asked the same questions.
Yeah.
And it gets pretty boring, especially for like if you've lined up quite a few. It gets pretty boring.
Yeah, and I always get like quite nervous for like radio interviews and stuff, because I feel like I'm being like quizzed about myself, and like I'm like, what if I don't know the answers? Whereas, what if I'm
where
not
do I live? Where am I from?
Like,
where am I from?
Like I get really like worked up about it, and but like this feels like really like natural and like comfortable, and it's just like a conversation.
Yeah. That's the aim of it,
which is a lot nicer.
But I always say, for me, we've most like it's getting to the point where most of our episodes now are 3 hours long, but you don't notice. And there's this like threshold of like once you get past 20 minutes, that's when it starts getting better. You know what I mean? Because people are used
like
to
the nitty-gritty.
Well, people are used to 20 minutes ish. Like that might be the most they've ever done. They're not used to going past that. So I've kind of got good at reading the conversation. It just naturally happens. It's just 20 minutes. People start relaxing. And they just sort of
finish the tea. They're like chilled out.
Or whiskey. Some people have brought all assortment of stuff, haven't they?
I wasn't offered whiskey when I came in.
No, they bring their own.
Oh God, didn't think so.
BYOB.
Some people, nervous people, like
it's like do a shot of tequila.
Some of them, you feel like there's a couple where like you see the bottle as the episode's going down, the bottle's like going.
Somebody brought us in prosecco, didn't they?
Oh yeah,
Christmas time.
Yeah, and a little Christmas tree.
Yeah,
that would actually be quite fun doing a podcast. Well, that must be a thing, like where people drink while podcasting, and then it like slowly the conversation just gets like
we have got to do that at some point.
Weirder.
Yeah,
just get drunk.
I will volunteer for that.
I'm sure all our guests will be like, we'll come back and do that.
The biggest podcast ever, like 6 microphones.
We're definitely going to do that.
It'll just be like hubbub, loud. Like, give me the microphone, I've got something to say.
Yeah, to be fair though, the more people you have, and if they're drunk, everyone just talks over everyone, and it just becomes a mess. Which is why we try and keep it to. I mean, I think we could have 5 guests at once. Us 2 plus 5 guests. That's quite a lot. That's quite a lot. Though. How many have we got on there? How many?
That's quite a lot when you've got everyone trying to say.
Yeah. So I was watching an actors, I don't know what it's called, YouTube channel where they get famous actors all around a table to just talk. And I've noticed that they're the most respectful people ever. No one talks over anybody. Yeah. People just sit there, like Morgan Freeman or whoever it might be, Brad Pitt, whatever, just sit there, wait till someone finishes telling their story. Nice. And then there's like a silence, and then someone goes, oh, actually, I once time, they just start there. It's like, I was like, nice. That is the way to do it. Like, proper professional, like, they just know what they're doing. Whereas some of the other ones, it's like,
everyone's screaming.
No one gets any point across because they're all it's like, occasionally in the morning, I'll watch Good Morning Britain. Yeah. With Piers Morgan.
Oh God, like, that show stresses me out.
I'm on the fence. I don't hate him. Sometimes he annoys me, sometimes he doesn't. But whenever there's like 2 people, they always get 2 people opposite opinions on whatever it is they're talking about. But they all end up, nobody gets any point across because you can't hear them. They're just like, blah, 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 blah. Someone carries on talking, someone else starts talking, they finish their point, then somebody else starts talking. She's like, I don't know what you said. Yeah. It happens almost every time I see it, whether it's about gender equality
vegan sausage rolls.
Vegan is the thing at the minute. Are you vegetarian or vegan?
I'm vegetarian. Okay. Yeah.
Vegan seems to be the thing at the moment.
The thing that everyone's discussing.
I mean, when Greg's went with a vegan sausage roll, I was like, wow, things are getting serious.
Have you tried it? I haven't tried it.
I would try it. I didn't understand what the fuss was about. There was a reason why they've spent all the money creating that, because there's a market for it.
I just thought it was funny how offended people were getting about it. Like,
what is there to be offended about?
It's a sausage roll.
How dare you?
It's like, so
You can
very
still buy your
strange.
meat sausage roll, so
Yeah, no one's
it
stopping
doesn't,
you.
it doesn't affect you. So why do you give a shit? I don't understand.
Very strange.
Have you tried one?
No.
I thought he was going to say goes against my religion. I can't. My meat religion.
I'd probably like it if I tried one.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
probably.
not in a hurry to do so.
I don't think I could actually choose one over a meat one if there was a meat one there. I don't think
I
I could bring
re-
myself
I
to do
actually-
it. I'd go with all the attention. I'm going to have a vegan. I'm going to have a meat one.
The thing is, I've heard that they taste exactly the same.
Well, that would be impressive.
But I feel like I wouldn't like that because I don't actually like. I don't want to feel like I'm eating meat because I don't like the taste of it.
That's true.
So that wouldn't really.
Oh, that's interesting.
That wouldn't really.
What about corn? Isn't there a
No,
whole
but
thing
the
about?
is, I like corn.
Isn't there a whole thing about
'Cause it's
trying to make it?
nicer.
All right.
Don't like meat, but I'll eat this meat substitute. It's exactly the same.
But nicer.
Is it nicer?
Yeah.
I've had it once.
Genuinely.
Long time
Genuinely.
Interesting.
Like life changing.
Wow, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. Interesting enough, though, whenever I've been into Greg's, which is fairly regularly,
Quite a lot.
the vegan sausage rolls are always sold out.
Yeah.
ago. Well, it's because like they've never offered anything like that to vegans before.
Just
guess.
like, so there is a market for it. So obviously people buying it. It's just like, I don't,
Yeah.
I don't see what the problem is.
They're probably sick of cheese and onion pasties because that's probably all else they could have had.
Yeah, that's true. But I find with most things that I
No,
see,
they couldn't. If they're vegan, they can't have cheese and onion pasties.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Just
They-
onion
they say-
pasties.
I forget myself sometimes.
it's pretty limiting. Vegan, you can't.
There's not a
It's
lot
like-
really, is there?
Like,
So they
it's
probably-
like
they
people who
probably
don't
could-
like. I don't like fun, so I'm not gonna.
they probably couldn't have anything. They went in there and they got crisps.
No, I don't
I-
think crisps are even.
I have to like read everything on every packaging of everything that's created ever. Is it? No, can't have that.
But you'd be surprised at how much like animal products is in everything.
Yeah.
And like even stuff like palm oil, which isn't an animal product, but it comes from like it's deforestation.
Yeah,
So,
that's been reduced now,
They
isn't
chop down all the trees and they get this palm oil, and obviously it's like
Oh, that's
dehoming
true,
all
yeah.
the monkeys' houses.
Manufacturers
vegan.
No, manufacturers of various things now are taking that out of things.
Yeah,
They've been,
but
the
it's in
government are
everything.
saying,
It's in everything. So,
Well, we've been eating horse meat for how many years and we didn't know. So
what do you-
do you remember that a few years ago?
No.
It came out, wasn't it come out like the factories
Oh,
have been using
yeah.
horse meat without telling
Facts.
us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was yeah, not good.
Like,
Good.
what's next?
All the
what's gonna,
vegans
what's
were
going to
like,
come out next that we don't know? I mean,
Oh god.
we don't really know what's in most stuff.
You don't. You just
Like
no.
when you go to the supermarket, you have no connect. Like, well, I know you don't eat meat, but like if you go to buy like a steak, you have no connection
It
to
could be
that
anything.
animal.
Well, it could be anything though.
But people have these really strong views on like they don't want to cruelty to animals, but then they'll go to the supermarket and just buy a steak without
Yeah.
even thinking about it. There's like, there's
See,
no.
because cows are literally my favourite animal, so I
I do like a
can't.
cow.
They're so cute.
They can be scary though when they start running at you. They can be. I was once playing golf with some friends, and the ball went into
Oh.
a field where some cows
Oh,
were.
no.
My friend just jumped over the fence, started looking for his ball, found two others, except didn't find his own ball. Had his back, and some cows were at the top, and
They
they just
started chasing
started
him.
coming towards down the field, but getting faster and faster. We weren't looking actually, and one of them just went, "Ryan, get out of the field!" And he's like scrambling to get over. These cows just come flying down. I was
Oh
like,
my
"Oh my god!" I just
No, I love them. I follow a page on Twitter called Cow of the Day.
that was going in the show
make a
notes.
note,
That was going in the show
Make
notes.
a note because
Cow of the
it's
day.
honestly it's the best account I follow on Twitter.
Cow of the day. What's so good about cow of the day?
They
Then?
literally just post a picture of a cow every day. And they're so cute, like little fluffy ones.
Funnily enough, I did
Little-
see someone post of like a young cow, like a calf, obviously. Like,
Was it me?
no, I don't know, but it was like, well, I hadn't even thought about it. Yeah, quite cute, actually.
They're so
Not up
cute.
there with a puppy, but, you know.
Well,
Would you rather have a cow than a puppy?
I said
You back garden.
next pet is going to be a cow.
I don't
Like
need
a
to buy a
little-
lawnmower.
They might, because you know you can get like little like teacup pigs. I want a teacup
Oh, yeah.
cow,
Oh, those micro...
like micro pigs. Yeah, I want.
Well,
a
they
cow
how's
version.
that come about? How have micro pigs? Is that like genetic modification or something?
I don't know. It's probably not very ethical, is it?
How long have you been a vegetarian for?
Like 6 months.
So what was...
But I didn't really eat like any red meat before then,
Okay.
and then I just stopped eating like
What
chicken
was
and
the
fish.
thought behind that then? Just the
I
usual?
just literally just didn't like it anymore. I didn't want to eat it.
Ah.
Actually, I had a really bad chicken burger, and I think that really
But is
put me
yours
off.
not based on the sort of the animal side of it? Or
I get
the
like
taste?
I think I did come to that point. I think it's like all the stuff you see. Like I think I watched like a video about like how meat is like like where it comes from. Obviously I knew where it came from, but when you like see those pictures and videos, like there's this Netflix documentary called Cowspiracy, and I don't want to watch it because I feel like I'd be quite traumatized by it.
Right, yeah.
Because it's really graphic apparently, and just like hearing about all that stuff was kind of, it just put me off meat and the taste of meat and what it actually is, if that makes sense.
I kind of agree, but
I'm not like a proper like militant like vegan.
I don't go on protests.
No, I don't do the protests. No, I don't.
I suppose the best protest people could do is just not eat meat, if it bothers
and
you
it's
that
just
much.
like a personal preference, really. I'm not like preaching into the world like.
I don't
eat
want
meat.
cruelty to animals either, but I can't do without bacon sarnie, so I'm sorry. I can't.
But yeah, it's just like just personal preference, really. So.
But anyway, get back onto music.
Music. Why are we here again?
So, got this new EP that you're about to record. It's fully written.
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you know what it's going to be called? Do you know what the artwork's going to be?
No.
Okay. I wondered how far you'd got with it.
That's the thing as well with the artwork. I don't think about that until like the songs are all finished and recorded.
Right.
Like I'm not a very visual person.
I was going to say, because the person who writes the lyrics and comes up with all the words usually, once you've given it a title, the whole thing, some sort of image from your lyrics should come to mind.
I'm not really like that. I always thought I was, but I think when I did the last EP, so the Dreamer EP, and I had no idea what I wanted for the artwork, so I got in touch with this photographer who was from the Lakes. He lived in like Ambleside, and I really liked her stuff, and I wanted to work with like a Cumbrian photographer. So I got in touch with her and was like, I've made this EP, I need some artwork, I need like single artwork, and then for the whole thing, do you want to like discuss like stuff for that? And she had like loads of ideas, and we were all doing it like, 'cause it was called Dream, we were doing it all like based around clouds and stuff. So she made these clouds out of like cotton wool.
Right.
And we did like we had this whole setup where there was like a backdrop and then these clouds around me, and I was like in the clouds, which I thought was like perfect. And then I ended up hating them. I just didn't want to use them. And then just as like a really random idea that she had, she sat me on a table, and it was like a really blue sky, like really clear day. Sat me on a table, had these like fake cotton clouds like all around me, and just took like a few photos, and that ended up being the artwork. And it was like not how I had imagined it at all, and it just was really spontaneous, really random, but it worked.
So that was the artwork for
the Dreamer EP.
Perfect. Got your head in the clouds.
And it literally head in the clouds, and it was perfect. And I hadn't seen that image at all prior to that very spontaneous decision. I think that's quite different to how a lot of artists do it, I think.
So any of these new songs likely to end up being, could they be the title of the whole thing?
There's a song called Bad News, which I feel like summarizes it all quite well. But I'm not sure. That's why I was thinking of giving it like a completely different name to like summarize them all.
Have you released much information to your fans about what's
No.
going to be on this new EP? So is that like the first time anyone have heard what a new song on your EP is?
Yeah. So Bad News is a song I was thinking of playing actually at the end. But it's a song I've been playing for a few years. And it's always gone down really well with crowds and stuff. It's like quite upbeat, it's quite fun.
Yeah.
Still depressing.
Upbeat, depressing.
Sad banger. And so I was thinking maybe that one. But I think I just have to wait until it's all recorded.
You get a bit more perspective, I suppose, once it's done.
Like hear what it sounds like. Because the last EP was very like stripped back. It was quite like
Basic.
Just me. Like I didn't even have harmonies. It was like me, guitar, piano, maybe a few strings on some songs.
So there's a bit more production on this one.
This one, like I want it to feel a bit fuller.
A bit layers and stuff. And
Yeah.
I suppose you don't want to overdo it because
I don't
you've
wanna
got to do it
overdo it
live,
at all.
haven't you?
I don't want to overdo it at all, but just something to like make it feel a bit fuller.
So have you ever envisaging, when you're writing these songs, playing them with a band?
Some of them I'm like, yeah, this would sound amazing.
Because if you knew beforehand, like say your next, whatever you would do next after this, if you in your head you think I'm going to play this with a full band, that might affect your songwriting.
Yeah, maybe. But I think when I'm writing songs, all I'm thinking about is the song, and like it, because it happens like so naturally. I'm not thinking about, will this sound good on the stage? Will this sound good in my set list. I just write the songs, and then they are what they are.
The other
And
thing
then-
to try would be maybe if you were in a band situation is to try and write songs with a group.
Yeah.
Just get in a room with like a drummer, a bass player, a guitar player, or whatever, or a keyboard player. Just say, I've got this idea.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that could change you for that particular project. That could affect your songwriting.
Definitely, because I've co-written songs before with other musicians, but never with the like having like drums or like any other
full band
instruments. Like
treatment.
I've never had that in mind. I think because for me, like songwriting is like very therapeutic and it's like just personal, and I write my best songs when I'm on my own in a dark room.
I suppose you're only 20, so maybe when you're by the time you're 25, when you've done like 2 or 3 more of these, just like you're doing now, you might get to a point where you go, you know what, I think I want to try something with a band.
And I would love, I want everything I release to be something different. It's going to be its own thing, and it's
like, a document of like a time of the time.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm doing now. This is what I'm feeling now.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you can't really repeat yourself.
Yeah, and I think it's I don't know what I'll sound like in like 5 years time. I might move on to heavy metal.
That I would like to see. Do you play electric guitar?
No, but I would like to.
Have you ever played?
I have my brother. He has an electric guitar. It's like very old, like an old Ibanez. Very out of tune and like old strings. Not sure it really works very well. And I really like the sound. Have you heard of Phoebe Bridgers?
Don't think so.
Write that down.
Phoebe Bridgers.
So she does like loads of like cool, like moody, like electric guitar stuff, and they're sad bangers as well.
Yeah.
And I like the electric guitar for that. Like I feel like that's an in thing at the moment for female singer-songwriters.
You know,
not necessarily like the sort of like riffs and or anything, or like.
Do you know the band Hailstorm?
I don't
Singer Lizzie
know.
Hale.
Don't think so.
Put that in the show notes. Hailstorm's quite like a heavy rock band, but she does a lot of acoustic stuff. Like she plays guitar similar to like your style. It's like quite soft, and but her vocals are like so like she'll be singing softly, then she'll just go into this really powerful bit, and you're like, where does that come from?
Yeah.
She's got like quite a soft voice, but also she can do like a really
like
aggressive
that.
stuff as well.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Yeah, no, I really like that. Do you know? So we're just gonna like go back and forth.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. An artist called St. Vincent. She's female, like
rings a bell.
Singer-songwriter. She does kind of, I don't even know what you'd call it. She always has. She's amazing on electric guitar, and she like does these like crazy riffs and like goes like wild. And it's kind of, it starts off like kind of poppy, and then she like it goes like really like thrashy and
heavy,
heavy, and it's like incredible. It's just so different and cool. Amazing. I don't think I'll do anything like that, but.
So, have you done all the social media and the Kickstarter campaign? You just all 100% by yourself? No one's helped you?
Yeah, literally
organise
all on my own. Yeah, I mean, so my producer that I work with, he produces my music, but I always just like send him messages like, help me, like.
How did you get hooked up with him in the first place?
So he had sent me an email saying that he'd love to work with me. He sent me some stuff that he'd produced before, and I really liked it. He'd worked with an artist called Hattie Briggs, who was like folk singer-songwriter, and I saw that she'd done some like cool stuff. She got like Fender Undiscovered Artist of the Year a few years ago. Now she's on tour with, or going on tour with, Alfie Boe, like more classical stuff. So I was like, okay, so he's worked with like some cool people. He did some stuff with like Jack Savaretti and Uriah Heep and all these different people, and I liked his stuff, and he'd sent me quite like a few emails and like followed up, and I wasn't looking to work with anyone new, so I hadn't replied for ages, and then I was looking for a producer to do some songs with, so I just got in touch with him, and so he's kind of been the person he's given me like advice and stuff, and like it's quite nice having someone to just ask their opinion.
I think everybody needs
like
at
rather
least one
than
person.
just my mum.
Yeah.
Because she's biased. But yeah, and so I'll ask him questions and stuff, and sometimes I've asked him to send emails on my behalf. For like gigs and stuff, or
like a booking agent. Yeah,
like kind of. And sometimes I feel like I get taken a little bit more seriously when he sends an email for me, because I think when people realise I like self-manage myself,
and you're only 20,
they're like, oh, she's just starting out, isn't she? She doesn't know what she's doing. But so it's quite nice having him there. But otherwise, like I do pretty much everything myself, and I feel like I've got myself to a position just from what I've done and what
Hard
I've
work as well.
put into it. It's hard work.
So who's your inspiration for playing guitar and singing?
I hate this question because it's so
I had to
hard.
ask one. I had to ask one generic question that you always get asked.
So I started playing guitar when I was like 14, 15. And I probably should be a lot better at playing guitar by now.
Did you have lessons?
No, I just taught myself.
Yeah,
So I
was the same.
had piano lessons when I was quite young. I did like grade 1 and I was like, I can't do lessons. I found it really restricting, and I just wanted to play songs I liked listening to.
Yeah.
So I'd just go on YouTube, watch a tutorial about how to play a G chord, and then play a G chord,
That's
and
the
then
thing. It's all
and
like
the E
YouTube,
minor,
innit?
then
Pretty much
C.
anything you want to. Well, it's there.
And that's how I learned. So I think the first song I learned was, this is like really cliche, but Ed Sheeran, 18.
Classic. The classic.
Because that's kind of what I was into, that like very like acoustic. And he was like really like breaking big at this point when I was learning guitar. So he just brought out 18, which went massive, and it was quite.
I bet he can't relate to that song anymore.
Oh no, probably
There
not.
you go.
And the thing is, I don't like Ed Sheeran anymore. I don't like,
You've
don't-
outgrown him. I've thrown him out the door.
Like,
Just get out of here.
he used to be like quite inspiring for anyone that was just playing with them and a guitar.
Yeah, well, when he
Because-
headlined Glastonbury,
Because he was breaking out and going viral with these songs that were very.
I had to give him credit
Simple.
for that because
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just him and his guitar,
And I
and he
think
was going mental.
And he worked, like, I did read his biography, his book, and he did work incredibly hard. Like, he moved to London.
Oh, you would
he
have
was
had to.
pretty much homeless. Like, he just gigged every single night for free
Yeah.
for like 3 years.
Till someone noticed him.
Till someone noticed him. And he worked really hard. So I can commend him for that. Anyway, so learn some Ed Sheeran songs. And then,
When did the singing come into it, though?
well, I've always sang.
Oh,
So I used to
right.
be really into musical theatre when I was little. And I've always been involved in that world. Like, I used to dance as well. And so I grew up pretty much on the stage where I was dancing in the chorus or singing or in a choir. I've always been part of that world. And I loved singing. I used to write songs when I was like 9. And I asked my mum the other day, I was like, can you remember like what music I was listening to when I was really young? Like, what got me into music? 'Cause I can't really remember. And she was like, oh, you just listen to like loads of pop crap.
Yeah, I think most of us did. Just whatever's on the radio or
So
TV.
I
just-
can't say anything cool, like. So yeah, like, it was just always something that I did and I enjoyed from a really, really young age.
So who are you, some of your favourite artists now, then?
So now, so your classics like Joni Mitchell, Kate Bush, like classic female singer-songwriters. I love Fleetwood Mac,
Yeah,
one of my
me
favourite
too.
bands. Like, I play like loads of their covers at covers gigs.
Yeah.
Very recently, and it's quite bad that I've only discovered him very recently, is Billy Joel.
Right, okay.
And not like his good stuff. So like, I don't know if you know, there's a record called The Stranger.
Yeah.
And it's got like Vienna on it. And I just fell in love with that whole record. And now I can finally say like, I want to be like the female Billy Joel in like that era. Because when people ask me like who inspires you, I never know what to say, because I listen to a lot of like modern like music or like smaller indie artists. And so when I tell
suppose
them,
who
they
inspires
don't
you?
know.
There's like who was the people who made you want to play in the first place?
Yeah.
Then there was like who's the people who you keep going back to now? Who you
Yeah.
can't like
There's
forget about.
There is an artist called Regina Spektor. Don't know if you know
Don't think
her.
so, no.
She's like the Orange is the New Black theme tune. You might know her from that.
Ah, right, yeah.
So she's released quite a lot of records. A lot of them are just like piano based, and she's an incredible songwriter, and she kind of goes all crazy and like does like weird stuff. And I've loved her for a long time because it's just her and the piano, but she makes like a big impact. And that was someone I was listening to when I was like 14, 15 and just starting out.
I like Tori Amos. You know her?
I know
wow.
I definitely know the name.
There's one song, Cornflake Girl, I think. One of her
Not that I've
biggest
listened
songs.
to.
I'll
What,
send you some links.
Okay, yeah.
She's really good. She
Definitely.
she's piano mainly, but she does guitar as well. But she's got a
Okay.
great voice.
Yeah.
But
But like, because I listen to music that doesn't influence my music in any way
I was gonna
as
ask,
well.
Actually, I was going to ask: is there any, like outside of what you play or listen to? Do you,
A
is there
lot.
much that
Like-
people would be surprised by that you listen to?
Well, yeah, because I really like listening to like sort of like indie rock bands, or like Catfish and like that kind of stuff. One of my favorite bands is Alt J. Do
Yeah.
you know Alt J? I absolutely love them. Saw them in concert a few years ago. They have like no similar style to me at all. Like, it's so far away from what I'm doing, but I love it. None of their song lyrics make sense. Not their sound is just so far removed from what I'm doing, but I love it.
Some artists do that. Like, lyrics aren't the most important thing about whatever they do.
Yeah, so I think it's quite nice for me to listen to music that doesn't influence me in any way, because for me, I think I'm a good, like, my skills are songwriting. I think I'm good at songwriting rather than being good at an instrument.
But I think if you listen to the same stuff over and over again, you might end up writing the same stuff.
And
over and over again.
and exactly. I don't want to write something that already exists.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Have you been compared to anybody?
I get like the Joni Mitchell thing quite a lot.
That's not bad.
But like, because people say my stuff is quite folky, and I guess a lot of the guitar stuff is. But because I mainly now write on the piano, and a lot of these next songs that are coming out will be piano based.
On this new EP?
On the new EP.
Okay, right.
I don't really see that, like, it's not really folky in my head.
Yeah.
So I don't like the term, I love folk music, but I don't think I'm a folk.
What would be another better way to describe it? Describe what you do then.
I just write sad bangers. And
Maybe after this EP is done, then you'll have a better idea of, this is what I do.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to, like, describe,
because you're going to get asked it. What do you do? What do you play?
I get asked all the time, and I have no idea. I have, like, so I describe the guitar stuff as, like, indie folk.
Yeah.
I think that works. Or, like, some people have said, like, folk pop, which I think works. But that doesn't work for, like, the piano songs, which are, like, more, like, Billy Joel-esque.
Because we used to get asked that all the time. Like,
it's difficult.
But you'd think even with heavy metal, but there's so many subgenres these days. It's ridiculous. So I was used to say heavy metal.
Yeah.
Just leave it at that and make your own mind up. They go, but what kind?
Yeah.
You have to listen and figure it out for yourself.
But otherwise, I just say, like, I'm a singer-songwriter. And people are like,
that's
oh,
probably
what
the
kind of
best
stuff? And I just...
Yeah.
It's tricky, I think.
It is. Unless you could, like, pull out a song and go, this. Have a little holster. Little digital player. I'll play this.
But, I can't remember what the original question was.
Neither can I.
But yeah,
who inspires you?
Oh, there we go.
Like, versus when you started to now.
Yeah. So now I just, like, listen to a whole bunch of stuff, and because of Spotify, actually,
there's so much to listen to, isn't there?
Because of Spotify, I listen to a lot of small, like, indie artists, like, probably people that are, like, at the same level as me.
Yeah.
Some people are like, who inspires you? I'm like,
interesting
well, like, people that are just the same.
It's people
like
you
me,
probably would have never
like
heard of.
Exactly. So I find it quite difficult at times.
But yeah, the singer-songwriter market is one of the most crowded, I would say.
Massive, yeah.
But it's you still have the ability to carve out your own sort of niche.
Yeah.
Which is, like we were saying, you should get the basic 1,000 people who are going to come and see you play or buy your CD or whatever, then that's all you need.
Definitely.
But you just got to keep going. It's like a longevity thing, isn't it? It's like, you seem like you're in it for the long haul.
Trying. I'm trying.
When did you release your first thing? What was the first thing you ever released?
365.
And what year was that?
I think it was 2016, but I can't. That doesn't
3
sound right
years
in my
ago?
head. Yeah, or like nearly 4 years ago. So maybe it was before then.
Yeah, well, 2015 would be 4 years ago.
15. Yeah, it would have been 15 actually.
Time flies.
Which is really weird in my head because I feel like I'm still in 2015.
You're a dreamer.
I'm a dreamer. I really am. Because what year are we in? 2019. Because
I forget that sometimes.
See, I thought
I do in like half of January. I still write I was writing 18, but
I did it the other day.
Yeah, it's just.
I was putting labels on some stuff at work, and I put March 2018.
Well, I'd be putting like March 2015. Like, I'm just not with it. I'm like 4 years behind. Yeah, strange. So it doesn't feel like that long ago that I released. You've disconnected from it so much. Yeah, like it just feels like a completely different.
What are you most proud of so far before this point?
That's a big question.
Whether it be, I don't know, it could be just 365, the success for that, or a certain gig, or getting a song on the radio, or whatever.
I'm trying to think.
I've got it.
That's really tricky. Probably, well, my favourite moment was when I was doing that big Newcastle gig, like 2,000 people. That was.
How did that come about?
So, So I knew Dodie, who I was supporting. I'd filmed like a YouTube video with her a few years before, and then she like started becoming like really famous and stuff.
Oh, so you were with her? You did that before she sort of
Yeah,
took off.
before she like took off.
Okay.
And we were just sort of acquaintances. I wouldn't say we were like best friends or anything. But her manager added me on Facebook, and he followed me on social media and stuff. And literally like a few days before the gig, the Newcastle gig, he was like, "Do you want to come support Dodie on the Newcastle gig?" I was like, I had like really bad flu that whole week. And so I said yes, even though I literally couldn't speak. I was like, I can't not do this. And I was ill right up until the moment I walked on stage, and it's like suddenly my whole cold just like disappeared.
And then until you finish and you go...
Until I finished, and then I died on the side of the stage. So that was like probably a massive moment. And Kendall Calling 2 years ago was amazing because I got like a really nice crowd, and that was a really cute gig.
Cute gig.
Cute gig. I don't know why I described it as a cute gig.
I've never heard that one before.
I guess you don't have a lot of...
I've never been to a cute gigs, but I mean... I don't.
Brilliant. Oh, we're coining some phrases tonight. Make sure you write all these down.
No.
Hey man, how's the gig?
This is
Cute. You couldn't even bring yourself to say it.
I couldn't get away with it.
I don't think you can if you're in like a female band.
Who did you go and
I
see?
think you get away with it if you have
Slayer.
a pianist, to be honest.
It was
How
pretty
was it?
cute. It was pretty cute. Oh no.
Oh, Slipknot, they're so cute.
I knew I wouldn't get through this whole podcast without saying something absolutely ridiculous. Moving on.
Oh, where do we go from there?
I don't know. So Kendall Calling was
pretty cute.
Was good, yeah.
Kendall Calling, yeah.
Yeah, no, so that
which
was...
Which stage did you play on?
So that year was the Carvetti stage, which
I
was really
I was
nice.
at the one last year. I think they seem to like can't make their mind up what they want to do with that.
I don't know what's happening with the Carvetti stage now, but so last year I played on the Yam Riot stage, and my music doesn't sound like it should be on the Yam Riot stage, but I think it's because it was for Cumbrian like local bands.
Yeah, I think they've done that again this year.
And they're doing that again this year.
The whole
it's
thing
like
is just
all
for
local bands,
which is good.
Which
they should have done that a long
really,
time
really
ago.
Cool. So yeah, last year I played Yam Riot, which was a completely like different vibe from the year before. It was still great.
Did you take CDs?
I didn't have CDs at that point.
Oh.
Because that was summer, and my EP didn't come out till September.
So that one last year was pretty much your first proper release, would you say?
Yeah, I describe it as my first proper release. Other than like I'd released a few singles before then, but like this was the first time I'd like got CDs and had like a marketing campaign. So I describe it as my first proper release. But then I've got like the 365 days and a couple of other songs I released that like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
they're just there, and it's not. I can't really call it an EP. I can't really call it a single with. Maybe it's like a single with like 2 like B-sides.
Yeah, I've seen some people do that where they'll get those songs together at one point and put them on an EP and say, "Here's all my as a collection."
I might do that because I'd love to work or like rework those songs. Because I feel like 365 is like a good song.
It could benefit from like layers or vocal harmonies or.
There was quite a lot. We did a bit of production on it, but because it's 4 years ago and I was really nervous and I was very like, I didn't really know what I wanted to sound like, and there's like some weird production. If you listen to it again like later on, you'll hear like weird production on it.
But I'm sure live you've probably evolved it.
But live and now
well.
and it sounds a lot different than it does on the recorded version. So I'd love to rework that song and record it in a different way. I think I could do a lot better with it.
I think a lot of people do things like that because
you
get to a certain point where I'm able to do this now, so I should do it.
Yeah, when I was
the song deserves it.
Yeah, and I was like 16, 17 at that point, and I had no idea. I didn't even know if I wanted to do like music as a career. I was just doing it for fun. Like, I was just doing it
because it was fun.
Yeah, and like I just enjoyed like putting songs on YouTube. And
so have you studied?
No.
Yeah. Anything.
So I
didn't even go to school.
I finished my A-levels nearly 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And then took a gap year.
That classic gap year.
And I'm still on it.
Yeah.
I just figured like that was the best thing for me to do, so I could invest as much time.
So then you knew you wanted to try the music.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Like, so when I was 18, in fact, just after I released that 365 and all those songs, and I saw how well it had done, that's when I was like, I could do this. It's like, and I had done a couple of gigs before then as well, and then I went busking in Edinburgh at the Fringe for a while. And
cool.
that was really fun. And like then I was like, this is how I want to try and make money.
So did
and
you think like that? Did you do it by yourself or did you go with someone?
I went with my mum.
I was going to say.
Yeah, she always comes. She's like my little roadie.
Carry your case.
That
does not go there. It goes there.
Really, she's like that. And so that before I left school, I knew I was going to give music a good shot.
What did your parents think?
They're really supportive about it. My
Cool.
mum was like, in fact, halfway through that gap year that I took, I was like, this is rubbish. I was working like in a hotel as well at like the same time, because obviously I wasn't making money off music really, and I was working this terrible job that I hated, and I was so like upset because all my friends were at uni and they were having like a great time. They were going through that period where it was just like all parties, and I was at home like miserable, or at work miserable, and I like really fell out of love with music, or I felt like I wasn't going anywhere with it.
When really that was part of your sacrifice, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I felt like I didn't know how to do it, and it was like really like it flatlined. It was like lulling because I didn't know how to promote myself and didn't know how to get gigs. Or
So was there a turning point?
Yes. So the turning point was when I decided to stop moping around, and I took myself to Nashville. Yes. You're like, what?
When you say yourself?
Yeah.
By yourself?
Yeah.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah.
The
Right.
US.
And the thinking behind that was?
Right, so basically, this was this time last year actually.
Bloody hell.
We were in March, aren't we? Yeah, so this time last year,
You're 20, so
I was in
you must have been
Nashville.
19.
So I was 19. And I went to Nashville to do this songwriting retreat.
I've heard of that.
So a lady called Judy Stakey, she used to be a music publisher for like Warner Chappell Music. So she's worked with like loads of artists like Sheryl Crow and people like that. And then, so I was like, I'm going to go on this retreat, see what it's like.
How long was it?
It was 5 days, but I was in Nashville. So I went to Nashville and spent a bit of extra time in there. And I was like on my own, just staying in an Airbnb, chilling in Nashville when I was 19. I couldn't do anything at 19 either because I couldn't go into any of the bars or the pubs or anything.
Quite a ballsy move.
Yes, it was, and it was really spontaneous as well. Like I was really like, I was hating life. I quit my job.
I bet that felt good.
It felt so good.
Stuff your
Quit my job, went to Nashville, and yes, I was in Nashville for just over a week, and that songwriting retreat was what changed everything. That was the turning point. So I spent this whole week like co-writing with other songwriters, and like networking. So I'm still really good friends with a lot of them. Networking, you got your songs critiqued and listened to, and you got to record demos.
Did they critique 365? Did you have that?
I can't remember. I
That would have been your big gun in your arsenal. Like, pull this out, play this.
I think a lot of them, like, because we were like checking out each other's Spotify, and they went on my Spotify. They were like, "Oh my god, look at your stats and stuff." So yeah, that Nashville was the turning point, really, because that week, and we like did a lot of like workshops and classes about how to promote our music and how to write better songs, and it was really amazing. And we did yoga every morning. We ate really healthy, and it was like, it was proper like good. And it was amazing. And so that was the turning point. So that was literally probably exactly a year ago. I was in Nashville.
That was a kickstart that you needed.
Yeah, and I really needed it, and I just felt so revived. And then I went to Canada for like a few weeks as well.
Straight
randomly.
after?
Yeah, just randomly. Like, I don't know why I thought it was just like a short plane journey.
What?
From Nashville to Canada. It's from Nashville to
I don't look
Vancouver.
at maps. I just go.
So I just got on the plane.
It's next door, right?
I just got on the plane.
One of the airlines going, really?
5 hours later. And so I came home and I was so inspired and revived. And I was like, I can do this. And
I'm going to start writing some songs.
And that's why, and so that's when I started recording the Dreamer EP.
Yeah.
And I was like, go, go, go. Like, I knew what I wanted to do. And like,
Is
suddenly,
that when you got in touch with the guy, your producer from
Yeah.
London? Right.
And so it started snowballing from there. And everything just started
That's cool.
working because I was more inspired to start working harder. Because I had got to a point where I just felt like really uninspired. And I didn't want to put any more of my energy.
You were sort of
into it.
floundering at a point, weren't you?
Yeah.
Something needs to happen.
So, I mean, literally since then, it's been all go.
I suppose what you needed was a plan.
Yeah.
Like, what was your initial plan for your
I
gap year?
had no plan at all. That was the problem. I didn't know what I was doing.
Oh, that's funny.
So I literally like came out of school, got this like full-time job, like waitressing in a hotel. It was awful. Wrote a song about it. And,
There you go. Everything's material,
and
isn't it?
yeah, so it's kind of like the push I needed, really. Like, got to that low point, and then it could only go uphill from there.
You'll probably look back on like your breakup.
I know. So
as a-
and
as a
literally
turning-
this time, so this year, I had my low point during the breakup, which was like a few weeks ago. It can only go up from here. It can only get
Exactly.
better.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's
All like
working.
food for thought in it for like.
Yeah.
Well, you've probably got ideas beyond this next release as well.
Yeah, I think. Well, no, I don't actually.
You're like, the only idea I've got is that I do want to have another release. That's my only idea.
I'll do another one. It's gonna happen. No, I think now I plan like year by year.
It's probably the best way
So
to do it.
this
'Cause things
year-
change so quickly, you can't really plan too far ahead.
So this year is like planned up until like December, January next year, and then I'll have to work out what's.
Are you gonna have like a release gig?
Yeah, I want to have like a release, like launch gig, probably in Penrith, and then maybe one in London as well.
Yeah.
So I've got some listeners down there. I've been trying to get on a tour for like ages, like a proper tour. So I'm trying to make that happen.
Yeah.
If that happens this year, then I'll be very happy.
When would that be?
I have no idea.
Or like a tour that's already
Just,
happening that
like,
you want on?
I really
or-
want to be a support act on
yeah,
a tour.
Yeah. It's the best way
I-
to start. on
Yeah, I
that
don't
ladder.
think I can do I don't think I could have my own tour yet. I don't know if I have enough listeners and all around the UK. Maybe,
yeah.
I don't know.
How far out of Cumbria have you been, really, gigging wise?
So I've done quite a few gigs in London. I don't know why. They don't pay very well and they're just difficult. So yeah, I've done like a few in London. I did one in Manchester.
Manchester's good.
Yeah, I supported a band called Carousel.
Right.
And they work with my producer as well. That's how I met them. And they're really good, like sort of indie folk Americana stuff, but like really upbeat and fun. And so I supported them in Manchester, which was a really nice gig. I've done quite a few gigs in Newcastle. I'm doing Newcastle again this Saturday.
Where at?
The Cumberland Arms.
Oh yeah.
It's with the Rookery Collective. So I think it's like a songwriters in the round kind of thing. So there's like 3 featured artists, all like sort of female singer-songwriters.
Yeah, you need to find like someone who's someone who you work well with on a bill.
Yeah.
Who's maybe a bit further down the road than you are.
Yeah.
That you would work well with, I think.
Yeah. So
but
that's
obviously
what I've been trying to like send emails out, and I think getting on a support tour would be.
I think
really.
It'll be
good.
easier once you get this EP out and done.
Yeah, because it's
then
be
you've
like
got
this
a
is
bit
my
more-
most recent stuff.
Yeah, this is what I'm doing now. Plus, it's probably more mature than anything you've done before. as
Yeah,
well.
because I said that about the Dream EP that I released last year, but then I realised it was so like stripped back that maybe it's not showing my
Your full
the full
capabilities.
potential.
Yeah.
So like this next EP will be like the one that shows everything that I can do, and it's gonna be it's just gonna be a bit more diverse, a bit more dynamic, I think.
Cool. So, do you want to do another song?
Yeah.
Do you want to do something new?
Yeah. I could do Bad News, which is, it's not really new. It's like maybe like a 2 years old,
Right.
but like that's new.
And it's going to be on the EP or the album. Is it going to be an EP or an album?
I want it to be an album.
Is it going
but
to be
I
more than
feel
25
like-
minutes long?
So I want it to be either 6 or 8 songs.
But it's,
So what's
it's
that?
time that classifies whether it's an EP or
Okay, so each song is no more than 4 minutes. So
So if it's,
I can't do maths.
it probably will end up being an album. We might be able to call it a mini album.
Mini album, yeah.
I think it has to be less than 25 minutes to be an EP, as far as I understood it. So
Yes,
I
it's
don't
wrong
know.
guy.
I don't know. I just always thought like an album would be like at least like 10 songs.
I think it's quantity over quality. I think so.
Yeah.
If you, because it is like the categorizer is just on time. So if you had 4, like people have 4 really long songs, but because it goes over a certain threshold, it makes it into an album. Do you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah, so it might be either. I'm not sure. So
interesting.
yeah. Anyway, I could do Bad News, which is like 2 years old, but it's quite like upbeat and fun.
But you haven't released it as a song out anyway.
I
yet.
haven't released it, or I can do a song I wrote like a week ago called Modern World. That's about how much I hate Facebook.
And could that be on the EP?
And that might be on the EP, but I've not decided.
I like the idea of hating Facebook. Do that one.
Okay. It doesn't actually mention anything about Facebook.
No, that's fine. It's just,
But it's just like the general feeling I had.
Abstract.
yeah,
It's not supposed to be obvious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You're
Yeah.
going to be like, that's not about Facebook.
no, it makes you think. What's it about?
Okay. So yeah, this is Modern World. I'm not decided if it's going to go on the EP album.
Right.
Give me your opinions.
Will do.
Okay. I've got a bad sense of direction. I'm never sure where I'm meant to go. You told me that I need to change that I really ought to know. I've been trying to live in the moment and not get so caught up in things. It's kinda hard when people say that I need to stop playing the game. I don't need you to tell me where to go, 'cause I don't wanna know, and that's fine by me. I don't need you to tell me what I should do. Tell me what you would do if you were me. 'Cause this modern world is killing me. This modern world is killing me. I guess I've got a lot to learn still, but I've got plenty of time. I'm in no rush to love somebody. I'm still trying to learn to love mine. And in a world that is so connected, I've never felt more shut out. I've been trying to sing my mind, but it's hard when we're all trying to shout. We all wanna be heard out. I don't need you to tell me where to go, 'cause I don't wanna know, and that's fine by me. I don't need you to tell me what I should do. Tell me what you would do if you were me. 'Cause this modern world is killing me. This modern world is killing me. And I guess I'm all messed up. Didn't get out of bed today, but I guess we're all messed up. Turn off your phone and get out of bed. I confess I messed this up. Sometimes I lash out 'cause I don't know what to say, and I guess we're all too wrapped up in our own lives to know what we should say. I don't need you to tell me where to go, 'cause I don't wanna know, and that's fine by me. I don't need you to tell me what I should do. Tell me what you would do if you were me. Tell me what you would do if you were me. modern world is killing me. This modern world is killing me.
Awesome. That was really good.
Cool, thank you.
I can't. It's hard to say without hearing the other songs, but I think that should go on.
Yeah,
I like the lyrics. They're really good.
cool.
What is your issue with Facebook?
It literally, it's not even really about Facebook. I think I actually wrote that while the Kickstarter campaign was going on.
All right.
And I kept getting all these comments from, well, not loads, but like the odd comment of people being like, why is she doing a Kickstarter? Or like, this is
You're always gonna
rubbish.
get that.
And I was like, stop telling me what to do.
Yeah.
And like, it was more like the feeling of like feeling like the like weird pressure from strangers on the internet. So like, I don't need you to tell me what I should do.
Yeah.
Or tell me what you would do
Although
for me.
one about if, in a world that's so connected, I've
Yeah.
not feel pushed out
So
or disconnected.
It was literally just like the feeling I was like quite angry and like annoyed
That's
at
good.
like strangers on the internet trying to tell me what to
Quite
do.
profound, I thought, the lyrics.
Yeah, thank you.
So
Good.
because we are so connected, aren't we? It's like
Yeah.
put-
It was
turn your phone off, put your
it's-
phone away.
literally, and I feel like I get like really bad anxiety or like go into like a really bad slump of being on like social media for too long or being on my phone for too long.
We were never designed for that, were we?
No. And like I suddenly realized like, what am I doing? Like I am miserable and I know why. It's because I'm spending too much time on Instagram or Facebook or
Well,
whatever.
you find yourself you're just scrolling.
You're just scrolling. It's like
for no
so
reason. There's-
like mindless.
It's just going blah, blah, blah.
It's
You're not even
rubbish.
taking it in. It's
And
all
you
the
could be
time.
like, for some reason you can't like stop your like it's almost like
Yeah,
thumb
your
just
thumb's on
is
its own
doing
going,
it. Like my thumb is like
stop.
I'll put it away in a minute.
I'll blame the thumb.
2
All the
hours later.
thumb's fault. I'll just chop it
Really?
off and it's problem solved.
Have you got an iPhone? It's got like
Nah.
screen time now, so you can track
Oh yeah,
your
I did see
screen
that. It
time.
tells you how long you've been like, on using
And
your
it's
screen.
terrifying. Like I'm
Yeah.
not even gonna say how much mine.
Does it tell you what
Terrifying.
apps you've been using as well
Yeah.
for certain
Yeah,
times?
which ones you've been
You've
using the
used
most.
Facebook for 3 hours today.
Yeah,
And it's like, no,
and-
I haven't. But you have. It's insane.
I've recently separated my media stuff from my personal stuff, so I've locked my personal profile down, removed everybody, and just said, "I've created," because I want everything was just getting mixed up, and it's just like
See, yeah, it's
getting on my nerves.
difficult for me to do that because I am like my own.
So you're
Brand.
you're like, are you like facebook.com/melaniebakermusic? Was it?
So yeah, most of it's Melanie Baker.
Is that a page or is that
Music,
your
and
own personal
it's
profile?
It's a page.
Okay, right.
But because it's me, because Melanie Baker is a singer-songwriter, but also me,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to try and like find a healthy balance between how I'm using social media or how I'm portraying myself.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm never sure if I should be putting on more of an image or like trying to like protect myself by
Yeah.
being someone slightly different online, or if I should just be. I think my thing is just to be myself and
Oh,
like
definitely.
be 100%.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Because my songs are about me and my head, and so I can only be honest. and
yeah.
be-
My only thing was I had to separate things like posting pictures of my dog, which
Oh,
I
yeah.
love doing, but then the next thing's like something about the podcast, and I was like, well, it's like. I want to like friends and family for all that,
Yeah,
the dog stuff. Anything
definitely,
else, I just
definitely.
thought, right, I just need to separate it.
Mhm.
Plus, it gave me a good excuse to just clear out all that. Just I don't know. I
Full
know
of
half
rubbish.
these people. So I look
yeah.
at like it says, "See your friendship." Like no posts and comment. You don't even have. You're not
I
even in the
don't
same
even know who you
photo.
are.
Like gone.
That's a good
I've put a
idea.
thing up saying, I'm doing this. So if
Yeah.
you want to keep in touch, I mean, yeah, I'm still on Messenger because Messenger's a separate thing. So I
Mm.
can still carry on talking to anybody that I have been. It's not like I'm just because I've removed them from that profile. He's removed me. How
Yeah.
dare he? It's like, well, you can still go like that one. And he was still on Messenger, but I just needed some separation and a bit of a clear out.
Mm.
So I went from like, I don't know, nearly 5,000. I was getting close to the full. And I was like,
Really?
yeah, I'm down to like 700.
Oh my god.
And these are people that I've like met or
Oh wow.
worked with or had something
Yeah.
to do with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, everyone else. I was like, well, if you don't, if you're gone, just go up to that profile and you can still talk to me on Messenger. So.
I always find it weird when you meet someone like like when I was in Nashville and we were adding people on Facebook, and then like suddenly I was like, I have a mutual friend with you. Just this random. So someone I met in Nashville, I had a mutual friend with someone that I'd met in Leeds, and they just knew
right.
each other. But I guess it's the music world is. Kind
It
of,
is,
It's
yeah.
a small
Yeah.
world as well.
Yeah.
But
I'm
that's-
also trying to use my phone less in general.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Like if I take the dogs out, I try not to
You
take
don't
my
need
phone.
your phone.
Or,
Well, that's like one of the lyrics in my song is like, turn off your phone and get out of bed.
Yeah.
Because if you're just in bed on your phone all night or all morning,
or I'll take
that's not good for you.
No, or I'll take it out, but I've got to the point where I'm getting good at like I didn't look at my phone for that entire whatever I was just doing.
It's like it's kind of sad that it's like an achievement, but it's also like it's just become so normal to just like have your.
It's sort
phone
of crept
in
up
your
on us,
hand.
really, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the day that they started putting apps on phones.
But do you know what? Do you know what makes me laugh? Is that so? The sort of like older generation, they're like, oh, like the millennials spend so much time on like their phone and social media. I don't know anyone that posts more on Facebook than my grandma. Like,
Brilliant.
None of my friends post that often.
I always find it funny when you see older people who don't quite know how to use it.
Yeah.
Like I was on something the other day, and like obviously someone's nana, one of my friends, so I didn't have her on Facebook, but her comment had come up on this thing. Someone put a post up about something to do about dogs. I can't remember what it was. But she just commented, no.
Maybe she just didn't like dogs.
Just like,
or like when you get like a comment from like a relative like on like your profile picture saying, hi, lovely to see you at Christmas this year. Thank you for the card.
yeah.
And I'm like,
this needs to be a message, not on mine.
hey, Grandma.
Or then polls where there's like a yes or a no or I don't care. Like, how much do you not care that you've had to log in to tell us that you don't care? And the don't care had the most percentage.
Honestly.
That is the world we live in, but
it is. Modern world, isn't
it's like
it?
we were saying before we start, it's like, I wish I didn't have to do all this social media bollocks, but it's part of how, like, especially as an artist, how you connect.
Well,
in this day
any
and age.
business, really, I think.
Well, some companies hire people just to do the social media.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, ugh. It's kind of like, I don't like the way it's going. Oh, I was going to ask, you mentioned the word millennials. In your opinion, what is a millennial?
I would say just anyone that is under 30.
Okay, I wasn't
I don't-
sure.
Currently,
I don't
because
know.
they won't be under 30 forever.
Did we Google this and find it out?
No,
I
but
don't know.
I guess
The internet's slow, so I can't really.
so. No, but what's
find
the
it out.
new?
Because some people say that it's people that were born after the year 2000. Others
No,
say
no,
that
no,
it's
no,
others
no.
say that it's people that turned 18 on the year 2000.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah.
People who were coming of age around the turn of the century,
Yeah.
which was me. In 2000, I was 19.
Yeah.
So I thought I was a millennial.
Yeah,
but then
but
other people seem to think that it's someone who's 18, 19, coming of age now, a millennial.
that's
Who
what
are
I
born
think
who are born at the turn of the century.
That's
are
what I
millennials.
think it is.
So I don't know. I've heard
But
both
what,
two different
there's
things.
something different that they call anyone who's currently. So anyone that was born in 2000, what are they called?
I don't know.
They've got a name.
Is it Generation X?
Generation X, yeah, that's
Or
the
is
one.
it Gen Y?
Something like that.
That's too many.
Same
the
same
signal's
difference.
gone on the internet, so I don't know why.
They're something entirely different. They're like they grew up with like Snapchat and like
Yeah, well,
that's
there is
the
that,
worst
yeah.
thing you can grow up with.
So did you know?
I
surely can't remember a time before mobile phones.
I didn't have my own mobile phone until I was
So you were born in 98.
13. I was
You-
born in 98. But I didn't have a phone.
I
until
got my
was-
first phone in 98. That is brilliant.
Oh, that's so weird. No, I didn't. But I didn't own a phone until I was 13.
Okay, which is probably when you're supposed to, I think.
Which but like now, like
Yeah, it's really uncommon these days.
babies know how to use iPads.
Oh, I know.
Just
Like-
today, I was talking to a guy at work, and his niece and nephew, who are 6 and 7, have got iPhones.
Yeah, and that's
how it-
normal.
Yeah.
And my parents, like, I remember when I was like maybe like 12 and I wanted to get Facebook, and my parents were like, no, and they didn't even have Facebook. They were like, no, this is like evil, something terrible. They were right. They were very 100% accurate.
Well, the other thing you were saying about people tech about getting their kids mobile phones is the lazy parenting. I mean, I don't have kids. What do I know? But
You can just like whap out Peppa Pig in like
yeah,
the
they just
middle of the
chuck
street.
them a phone, and the kids just go silence.
But it's scary.
like
But
lazy
it's really
parenting.
strange. Like, no, even if like, because the thing is, like, I've seen like really like toddlers be able to just intuitively use a phone. Like, I find that scary.
That's become
They
part of like
can just-
DNA.
And maybe it's just because they see like so many adults or so many people around them, like as babies, like just taking it all in. Because you like absorb a lot as a baby.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's just a sponge,
It's
aren't you?
just so they're like obviously seeing these phones and they just know how to use them.
Yeah, but I see it all the time with like relatives. It's like the grandkids going, no, you open the app there, you go to settings.
It's almost like they already know.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's like us or me back in the day teaching me nan how to like set the video recorder. What was it? You might even remember Video Plus in the Radio Times. This was before the internet. Video Plus used to have a code that you type into your video player that would automatically record the program when it came on. Like trying to teach your nan that, it was like,
I don't think you could even teach me that.
Exactly. Oh, but have you seen them videos of like teenagers looking at like cassette tapes? You saw it?
Really?
Yeah, I love those. Like,
they don't even know what it is. It's like you've given them something from another planet.
No, because I still grew up with like cassette tapes and.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh wow. But these were like, these were Americans. They must have been about maybe 14, 15, and they were just like.
Well, I think that's like the Gen. What is it? Gen X that they're called. Gen
Yeah, I think so. But they were like going. They were going.
14,
They were like
15,
lifting it up, going.
them.
Where's the screen or where do the batteries go? So it was like, let's put cassette tape in it. They were like, a what?
No, I grew up with cassettes because we had this like whole collection, and we had like storybooks on them, and then we had like music, and then we had like little headphones, and loved that. And then I got a CD player, which was exciting.
Yeah.
Loved my CD player, like that was amazing. Then I got my first like MP3 player.
Yeah.
It was a little pink thing, and I used to fall asleep like listening to like Lily Allen or something. That was great.
The angry Cockney.
And then I got an iPod, like one of those like I think they're really
the nanopod.
maybe like a nanopod.
Yeah.
And then the bigger one, that was like life changing.
Revelation.
Loved that. And yeah, then I got my first phone when I was like 13, which I
don't even have MP3 players anymore because everything's just on your phone.
I haven't seen an MP3 player.
Just like they don't really
ever.
like. I'm trying. Sat navs on the decline because you've got maps on your phone.
Weird, but I loved my MP3 player.
I used to. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. So then, yeah, but I don't feel like I grew up with a phone or like I didn't grow up with social media.
I was going to say
the way that kids grow up with social media now.
It was too well. I suppose do you remember MySpace?
I don't know. I didn't have MySpace.
Okay. Because that was like 2004, 5, and 6, and then in 2007 is when Facebook just went.
I think that my generation, the big thing was MSN.
Yep, I was
doing like the whole
well.
like the video chat every night after school.
Oh, I didn't have internet good enough for the video chat.
It was what we had to do. We video chatted like every night, every weekend.
I just remember the hours just sat on my computer just messaging various people all the same time. It's just like
so it actually
couldn't keep up with them all.
Wait, no.
So yeah, I guess the MSN was like the closest I got to like social media. Like that was a lot of hours spent on the computer.
But a lot of it, I suppose, was important communication with your friends, I suppose.
But it's nowhere near the same that kids are growing up with today.
No.
Like having a phone when you're 6.
In a way, all that
having
stuff's...
Instagram when you're 7.
All that stuff's kind of turned a bit evil.
It's scary.
It's a bit like...
No, it is.
Especially thinking about younger people, yeah. And when you think about... the adverts get shoved in your feed.
Yeah.
It annoys me. I like remove ad. Irrelevant. Like, is it ever going to stop giving me adverts? I'll just tell everything's irrelevant.
But it's terrifying. Like if I ever have kids, I'm like moving to like a deserted island, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't know. You can't like pretend like things don't exist. I suppose with kids, it's like swear words. Like I wouldn't fight it. I would say these are the swear words. You don't say them. If you're on your own, I suppose
I know
you can say
3,
them.
but I'm going to give you the list.
You're going to end up saying them in front of your friends anyway. Don't say them in front of your mum. You know, it's like I suppose you got to be real.
Yeah.
Don't try like some people like mollycoddle their kids where they're like. So when they get to a point where they experience stuff, they've got no.
And
they don't know how to
there's
handle
the
it.
phrase that strict parents raise sneaky kids.
Yeah, they just try and circumvent all the rules. And
yeah, and like if you try and like be too strict or not let them have a phone or whatever, they're just going to think you're like the worst parents ever.
Yeah.
And that you're just doing it to get out them. But
what do you think? You might raise kids as musicians.
I hope so.
That's a good thing to teach them.
Yeah, definitely. No phone, just.
Unfortunately, you can't really be a musician without social media, though, can you?
Yeah.
Unless you were prepared to like tour constantly everywhere, just go to a town and just get gigs and do it the old school way. It'll take a lot of money
and a lot more time.
So are you going to have like you said previously you felt like you wasted money on PR. But is that part of your next?
I think what I realised is that I have a strong enough like fan base now,
Evidently so.
and just to do my own PR, and like there's more than enough resources for me to contact people that do blogs and stuff, and that's all that this guy that I paid a lot of money to, he was using it's called it's a website where you like send in your music to blogs and they review it.
Stuff that you could do yourself, basically.
Literally stuff that I could be doing myself for free. So
you learned the hard way.
I learned the hard way and the expensive way.
But there's a lot to be said what you can do for yourself.
Yes, I'm going to do my own like self-promotion, and
I think what you were saying before about like doing like videos.
Yeah.
Put stuff that like honest, like good content.
I'm literally going to like document the whole journey and like the whole
you document
recording.
the studio, yeah,
the studio, everything. Like I'm going to film it all because
you're going to get your sister to do it.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'll film it myself. Like I just wanted to have it documented, and I want to take everyone on this journey, and like it's not a surprise that I'm going to be releasing something at the end of this year.
It's also you document it for yourself as well.
Yeah,
you'll be able to look back on it.
I would love to look back on it and be like, oh wow, I did that.
Because some of my friends, like we went to Centre Parks a few weeks ago for a friend's stag do, and it was like everyone was like, "You're always taking photos or videos." I was like, "Yeah, but like eventually that's all you'll have left."
Yeah.
If you don't take photos, and you just got, and then your memory's going.
Yeah.
Or like, I just always like to document everything.
No, yeah, definitely.
Especially now you've got good cameras on your phones.
Mm-hmm.
It's like something's happening. I'll take a photo.
Yeah, no, it's going to be all documented. I'm going to be transparent of the whole experience and. Well,
especially since like a lot of people of your fans have invested in it.
Yeah, exactly, and
so
I want them to see
where the money's going.
I'm doing. Yeah,
and the result of it, and they'll.
Exactly.
Assuming you're going to let them access it first.
Yeah. So anyone that had pledged to the Kickstarter, will have that available to them first, and then eventually I'll just release it to everyone. But obviously, those people that pledged are the ones who actually care. Yeah, and they actually want to know. And then there's like a couple of other people that are like, yeah, I'm interested. But
there'll be the people on the fence who will see the result of it and then maybe interested next time to do it.
Definitely.
So, but it's well done, I say anyway. Cause
thank you.
I saw you in the Herald, so I knew you'd made it. So
the Herald have always been like so supportive.
I know. Well,
it's great.
Yeah, that's what you need.
I didn't actually, so when they did the article saying that I'd like raised enough money and that I'd hit my target, and I didn't know they were writing that article, so I was like walking through Sainsbury's, and then like I looked over at the Herald, I ran over, I was like, that's me, and I was like on the little like
showing like a granny next to you. Look, that's me.
I literally was. I went to buy it. I was like, proud moment.
Oh, I love stuff like that. That's hilarious.
I didn't know, so I was really excited. That was nice.
So I mean, what about like? Have you been on? You've done Radio Cumbria before, haven't you?
Yeah, Radio Cumbria, amazing as well. Tom Salmon that does the BBC introducing show. He's been playing my music since I released 365 Days, and that was the first song he played on the show 4 years ago. And since then, I've done like live sessions of him.
I want to get him on the show as well. Actually,
he is amazing. Like he would be great on this show because obviously he is a
that's what I thought.
Presenter. Great voice, great chat, and he's just a lovely guy as well. And then since then, like he's given me loads of opportunities. So that's how I got on the Georgie Spanswick show, like doing the national radio thing. And then with him, I've been doing these like going into schools, like secondary schools, and talking about how to have a career in music and playing a few songs. And he talks about his presenting, and it's trying to like promote the introducing show and like to promote people sending in their songs, and it's gone really well. So I've been doing that with them, and then from that I got offered to do songwriting workshops. So then I did a songwriting workshop in a primary school, wrote like a really cool Christmas banger with these like 11-year-olds that were sick. Like they were so good. They're amazing. And yeah, like it's like just brought all of these different opportunities, and that's just from Tom Salmon on the introducing show being so supportive.
Of influential for Cumbria. I think you're doing it right though. Like it's like most business model is like conquer your own area first. Yeah. Before you start reaching out, but you also don't want to oversaturate yourself. It's a fine line between playing too often in your own area as well as needing to get out other places. The other thing about getting outside of here is like no friends and family, playing in front of people who've no idea who you are, so that any feedback you get, is genuine.
Yeah.
I
definitely.
think that's quite important.
And because I do like, I've been doing like some gigs in London, and I've been doing this like music competition in London. So I'm due to semi-finals, which is next week. But whenever I'm in London, I just feel like such a small fish in a big pond. And in Cumbria, I feel like an average-sized fish in like
I think
a
it's
small
good.
pond.
It's good to feel like that, a bit out of your depth,
bit out
or
of depth, or
out
like,
of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
That's fundamental to your development. I think.
feel like sometimes being in Cumbria, I feel like quite comfortable and like sheltered by it all.
You don't want to be too comfortable for too long.
No, so that's why I just need to like go to Nashville and do random stuff. I want to plan.
Where are you
like
going next?
I want to do like another like really random trip somewhere.
Do it. You want to do like busking in like Sydney next?
Yeah, do you know what? I might do that.
Jack Johnson style.
I actually might do that. That would be a good one.
I was actually
Definitely.
in Sydney when he was busking before he.
Oh wow.
Back in 2002. I can't remember what even year it was.
I'm doing the Edinburgh Fringe again this year. So but this time I'm doing the whole.
So what's the deal with that? How does that work?
So it's the whole of August, and I've heard pretty much the only people that make money are the street performers. So obviously, like there's loads of different shows. So there's plays, there's
because it's mainly comedy based, isn't it? The whole thing.
No, it's like
it used to be.
So it's comedy. There's dance. There's full length plays. There's like a lot of like uni students do it, but then there's like really like big shows. Literally anything you could think about, like contortionist acts, circus acts. There's like a whole Fringe book with thousands of different venues, different acts, different people who are struggling to make money from it all because it's so oversaturated. And then there's all the street performers. So you've got like the circusy people, or the people that eat like fire or swords, and then you've got the buskers, and you get different slots throughout the day. They're really short slots. They're like 20-minute slots.
Wow.
So it's not a lot. But because you're doing the full month, and there's so many people there, like it's insanely busy.
That's a long time.
And you can make a good profit. You can make good money. So I'm doing.
So street performers is just people.
Yeah. So literally just. So they'll be like street performers, like doing stuff on the street. People just give them money, and then I'd be busking. People just give you money because they feel sorry for you. But so yeah, I'm doing that for the whole of August.
You're gonna do that
in Edinburgh,
year?
yeah.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. So and it's also a good way of like getting your music out there and like promoting it. It's like free promotion. I'll put a big sign up. Probably get to sell some CDs as well. People like buying CDs when you're busking.
That's true.
Because
you've got plenty.
Exactly, I'll have them all. Take them for free.
Make like a chair out of your CDs.
I was thinking of, because I'm sure someone did this where they just sold like their CDs for like £1 each. I'm so tempted to just do that, just to get rid of them.
Yeah, well, I think that would work.
It would discount, but
well, thanks for joining us. It's been a pleasure talking to you. So where can people find you if they want to find you?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
So you've got at Melanie Baker.
It's at Melanie Baker Music.
On all of them.
For everything. Twitter is just at Melanie Baker. It's easy.
That's half the battle, getting the right handles, isn't it, for all the platforms?
But if you just type in Melanie Baker, I'm sure.
And like YouTube as well.
On YouTube, Melanie Baker Music. Yeah.
Cool. We'll put a link to all that stuff in the show notes. So, and we'll have you back when you've done more stuff.
Thank you.
Maybe it's in 5 years' time.
Maybe when you're doing like the drinking prosecco while
when you get drunk, we'll do that.
I'll be on that one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.